we will rise again. I'm a king that will fight to the death. Your king is in great spirit.
All right, this is King Butcher. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. Very good show today, guys. A very entertaining show. Because we're talking about Wilder. Oh, no, wait. We're not talking about Wilder. We're talking about Joshua and Fury. That's right. That's right. Oh, man. How are you, people? In the chat, who do we have? Don McValley. 444, the NDG. SSB28, Aussie Mandias, St. Brit Sports, of course, Jay Perez, Kaylee Sutherland, who's having a white Christmas tonight, for sure. Yo, what up? SSB28, what's up, people? Steven Schneider, of course. Yeah, we're going to be talking about yesterday's fights and also about the future. And again, my opinion, I'm excited about the Joshua and Fury fight. And call me crazy, I think it's closer when people think it is. I think I fucked up here on Discord because I called Stu. And fuck.
I'm here.
Ah, shit. What's up, man? You scared the shit out of me. I can't even see you. What's up, man?
Yeah, good.
Oh, I see you. And we have Mr. BDA as well. Stu, welcome to the show. Tell us your thoughts about Anthony Joshua's performance against Kubrat Pulev.
It's a tough one, really, because I was impressed. I was impressed by Anthony Joshua, but it's Pulev in there. And what did I tell you? That Pulev would bring zero to the table. A one-dimensional fighter who's got a jab and a right hand, and even the jab was not being used. He was just trying to throw the right hand all night, and it was slow and telegraphed. And Joshua, I said, well, Joshua struggled to see right hands coming. Pulev was that slow. He didn't have any problem seeing them coming. He was getting underneath them, and Pulev was just useless. But Anthony Joshua, I mean, what else? When Anthony Joshua gets into mid-range and lets his hands go and throws combinations, it's a beautiful sight to watch. But just certain things in there, yet again, I still think it's a lack of confidence with him. He was very cagey at times. You know, is he worrying about getting hurt? Is he worried about his stamina? He let Pulev sort of not come back into the fight, but just hang around far too long for my liking. And but look, you got to be if you're in Joshua's team, you're going to be happy with the result, happy with the performance. But we have to just slow down here a little bit because it's Pulev in there, and the guy's just dreadful. He really is.
Okay, now I agree with a lot of what you said, but you know what? When the first time AJ heard Pulev. And then Pulev got back because he went down. Pulev got back up, and then AJ was wailing on Pulev. I was a little bit concerned because it was the same.
Yeah.
You know, the Ruiz fight. You know what I'm talking about. You know, that's the one he got careless and he got caught.
Look, I saw it, mate. Yeah, I saw it.
So
I get why Joshua was. Yeah, Joshua was loading up on his shots, and you keep throwing punches like that. It's not going to be long before your tank's emptied, but. You know, there was just nothing coming back for Joshua to be worried about. I thought Joshua's jab looked beautiful jab. He was using his jab. I think he's learned certain things. I think he's starting to read the right hands coming towards him a bit better. I think he seems a bit lighter on his feet. Look, it seems to be improving a little bit. I just think the confidence is still a bit short, you know, and obviously he got a bit sloppy now. I keep saying for some reason when Joshua goes to round 6 to about round 8, round 9, he just he's sort of like gets all robotic and slow, and then he gets a second wind and goes again. But from the 6th to the 9th, he usually just loses his shape and just looks a bit messy. And then we found that was the case because Pulev was not really bringing anything to the table, and he was still
are you
looking
expecting
sloppy
Muhammad Ali in there?
No, of course not. I'm just saying. I'm breaking down what I saw, mate. What do you want me to say?
I know. He's But that's who AJ is. I mean, I agree with you. I would like to see him move around. Shape,
though, bro. There was times when he was looking brilliant, and then from the 6th to about the 8th, he just started looking sloppy, and he was starting to it was becoming a hug fest. Pulev was just bringing nothing to the table. But you've got to be impressed with what Joshua done. Probably a 6, 7 out of 10. You know, that's where I am with it. But you've also got to look who's in there with him. I mean, this was a stylistic match made in heaven for Joshua. I told you that last week. Joshua is going to look good beating this guy up. And he did.
He looked better than against Andy Ruiz, right?
No, not for me, he didn't.
Come on, Stu, man. That fucking fight in Saudi Arabia, he didn't look better than that piece of shit garbage performance?
Oh, no. I thought you meant he looked better in the Ruiz fight. Oh, no, he looked a lot better in this fight.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so there's some... come on, Stu.
Questions, bro.
Some positive things. Some positive things.
Yeah, look, he looked a lot better. Because Joshua's better when he's letting his hands go at mid-range. When he's fighting on the back foot trying to survive, it's just not his style. And he's going to get caught up to very quickly if he keeps fighting. But look, I think he got the balance right. I think he was fighting at distance at times at the right times, and then he was working inside at the right times. It was a decent performance. You know, it really was. I can't knock Joshua. He did what he had to do. But there's still vulnerabilities there. There's still flaws there. And I'm still convinced that his confidence is not what it used to be. But look, on to the next one. Joshua's still the champ, and look, we want the big one, don't we? That's what we want now.
Yeah. In the chat, Andres Hernandez says this fight was garbage. I don't know if it was garbage. Stu, do you think it was garbage? Like, what do you mean by garbage? I don't understand.
It was garbage because Pulev never brought anything to the table. Look, you can't blame Joshua for what Pulev brings to the table. And I told you Pulev brings nothing to the table. He's just a one-dimensional. I mean, his style is boring to watch when he's in his prime. Can you imagine what he's like 40 years old doing that style? Just dreadful. There's nothing I saw from Pulev that made me impressed or made me think he could win that fight. And let's be real, the fight should have been stopped in the 3rd round because when you turn your back like that, then the fight should be waved off.
Just one comment about...
the critics, that's what I'm saying, the critics are getting at Joshua. And maybe if the ref had done his job, we wouldn't be criticising them latter rounds. But look, this is the problem with Joshua. It looks brilliant in the early rounds, explosive, but then mid-rounds kick in, and that's when he starts to get sloppy, loses shape and stuff, and that's when Tyson Fury is going to kick in, because Tyson Fury go 12 rounds easy every day.
I don't know. Okay, well, we're going to discuss that.
With Josh is going to have to get Fury out there early.
Pulev has one of the best chins in the heavyweight division, so they were saying. He fucked them up in there. AJ fucked them up, man. Did you see at the end? Yeah. Did you see that finish? Come on, you got to say, that was an amazing finish by Joshua.
Listen, when Joshua's got you hurt, you fucked. You're fucked. I mean, Ruiz hit him with a desperate shot and it landed. Luckily, it landed and the rest is history. But usually when Joshua's got you hurt, it's over for you. Of course, the man's explosive. And he's got a very good punch selection as well, Joshua. Very nice punch selection. He's a very good fighter, man. It's just when things are going and when fighters are hitting him back, that's what I'm worried about. He just looks a bit clueless sometimes when it comes to I mean, look. Pulev brought nothing in the pocket, nothing at mid-range, nothing in the hold. He was just, it was just a dreadful performance from Pulev. It really was. But look, take my hat off to Joshua. I enjoyed it. I didn't pay for it because I'm £25 to watch Pulev get out.
Oh, wow.
I didn't pay for it, but I watched it on a good stream and I enjoyed the fight. That's where I am. But it was a one-sided fight, beatdown. Let's be real.
Can I step in here?
Yes. Let me turn your volume up a little bit. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
properly? It's very low.
How about now?
A little bit better, man.
A little bit better. How about now? Testing 1, 2, 3. Not too loud? The same?
Yeah, it's very low, man. It's very low on my end.
Stu, how about you? Can you hear me, man? Come on. Help me out.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man. I can hear you fine.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. I sort of agree a little bit with Stu there in that Joshua. But here's the thing: Joshua, like you said, Bucho, this is who he is. He's not Marcus Maidana. He's not gonna go in there swinging for the fences and just hitting whatever he can. The guy is a boxer puncher. That's what he does. And incidentally, I was watching it on the Zone, and they had Brian Kenny, Sergio Mora, and the other dude. I forgot the other guy's name. And as Brian Kenny kept complaining the first 3 rounds, Joshua's not doing anything. Joshua's not doing anything. And just as he's saying that, boom, he catches him with that first knockdown. And I'm thinking, there you go. That's what Joshua does. He's a boxer puncher. He's not going to go in there and blast guys out. But then again,
he's very like Canelo, isn't he? Fights in bursts.
Exactly. That's enough for him. And look at his record. 22 knockouts out of 24 wins. Only 2 people have gone the distance with him. That's Joseph Parker and Andy Ruiz. 2 very durable guys. Mm-hmm. I don't see any shame in the way he fights. Maybe if he lost a little bit of that muscle mass, like you guys have been saying, he could potentially up the volume a little bit. But so far right now, I think he's as good as he's going to get. He's got good combinations, maybe some of the best in the division. He's very calm, composed. He doesn't clinch a lot like his predecessor Klitschko. And overall, he's more entertaining than Fury. Now, whether he can beat Fury, that's it. Right. But
no, I'm just saying, I agree with everything you said there. You know, there's a guy in the chat saying I'm hating on Joshua. I don't know what I've said that I've hated him. I enjoyed his performance, but you have to connect the dots here. And that's Pulev in there. If that's Tyson Fury in there, not all them things are going to work. You know what I mean? It's just because when nothing's coming back at you, it's easy to look pretty. That's my point. So it's just I enjoyed Joshua's performance. I like Joshua. Like I said, I think he's a very good fighter. I'm just a bit worried about Joshua when someone started to put the pressure on him, how he's going to react. Because for me, he just doesn't react properly. You know.
I think Stu, let me just cut you off because we have to take a phone call. So let's take it. 470, you're on the air. 470. Oh, maybe he's muted. Hold on, 400. No, are you there? All right.
You know, I find it strange that you couldn't hear me before, but everybody else says
maybe the phone lines are fucked up. Okay, you guys keep talking. I'm gonna fix this shit.
Hey, Stu, man, when you were watching the stream, was it the American stream or was it like a Sky or whatever?
No, I had the DAZN stream, I think. Yep.
Okay, because I had it too, and Brian Kenny was driving me mad. He was criticizing AJ. He needs to be more impressive. He needs to be more entertaining. I'm thinking, look, I agree. I'd like to see guys more active. But does he want Joshua to get his ass knocked out? Like, I think he did the right thing. After he dropped Pulev, he opened up with combinations, saw he wasn't going to take him out of there. And did he allow Pulev to come back into the fight a little bit? I agree. But the thing I kept thinking while he was throwing those combinations was, don't blow your wad. Don't blow your wad.
Yeah. Or get caught, man, in a counter. By the way, 470.
Well, that's what happened with Klitschko. That's what happened with Klitschko. He hurt Klitschko early and then sort of like went for the kill and couldn't get Klitschko out of there. And then the tank started empty quick, and before you know it, Klitschko's on top. And how he turned that round is probably because Klitschko's a bit too old on the day. But if that's a Klitschko 2 or 3 years younger, AJ probably wouldn't have made it out of that one. So look, that's always going to be on the back of his mind. His stamina problems, and I think that's why he fights in bursts. Like I said, I think Canelo's got the same problem with stamina. That's why they fight in bursts. But when they do throw punches, they've got to make it look good and make it pay, and they do that. You know, it's just my problem is just nothing. There's nothing coming back. No hooks. No right hands really. No body shots. And Pulev, what was it? Did Pulev throw an uppercut all night?
No.
Joshua was throwing triple uppercuts on this guy. He didn't throw one. Useless, man.
All right, let's
not AJ's fault. IBF put Pulev there.
Yeah.
Blame the IBF.
Yeah. 470. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So yeah, it was an entertaining fight. You know, I enjoy AJ fights. You know, I've just been listening to the points that have been made. I think AJ, because of the Klitschko fight and not was hurt in that fight, and the Ruiz fight, he's kind of adopted this. He's going into this kind of safety first, almost a Klitschko type of approach to boxing now. and where he doesn't want to risk. If he exchanges, he doesn't want to risk being hurt. And with what happened with Ruiz, where he couldn't recover, and I think it's disappointing. Some people, I heard Stu, talk earlier, but here's the concern, right? You see a guy, he's 6'6", he's 240, ripped, he's got the power, he's got the speed, and then you look at a Pulev, you see a 39-year-old guy, he was never world champion. You just kind of expect AJ to dominate. That you kind of have that expectation. You accept him, you expect him to go in there and be a beast. And I see a guy it's getting better, but I see the hesitation. I see reluctance to exchange. I see reluctance to engage, and he only wants to engage when he's when it's 100% safe. And that reminds me of Vladimir. I also see a guy who's trying to make himself into something that I don't think he is naturally. So he's trying to be on his toes. He's trying to be an Ali type box. He's trying to be on his toes, and I don't think that's who he is naturally. Because when the middle rounds come,
he's burning energy. He's burning energy. Can't afford to burn cooler.
Yeah, you see his whole his stance. Everything starts to fall apart, and then he's in the middle rounds when he loses his concentration. I think who he is naturally is he's a naturally aggressive boxer puncher, but I think because of the confidence that he lost in the Klitschko fight and then the Ruiz fight, I think he's scared to go back to that style where he's an aggressive boxer puncher, and that's what I saw.
And this is my point I've been making quite a while now. Joshua, it's never been a physical thing with me for Joshua after this Ruiz fight. It's a mental thing, and I'm still not sure he's got over that defeat. Probably got over it in certain ways, but then when he's in there again, like I said with Pulev, getting flashbacks. He was getting the old Clubber Lang flashbacks that Rocky was getting, of him getting sparked out, and it just sort of like made him hesitant and a bit cagey. Look, I get it. Joshua's not built to be fucking on his toes, fighting on the back foot. He's just not built for that. I like Joshua when he's in mid range, letting his hands go. He's just a joy to watch. But the thing is, I get it also that this guy's just not built to be throwing hundreds of punches around. So we're just going to have to accept he's going to have lulls in fights. But my problem with Joshua is when you're in there with the best of them, 6, 7, and 8, like he was against Pulev, I don't know, that he lost his shape, he lost his concentration, he was getting sloppy. When you're in there with Tyson Fury, that could be the end of your fighting life. So that's my point. But still, very dangerous guy, man. Very, very dangerous.
So you guys wanted AJ to knock this guy out in 4 rounds? Or what were you expecting out of Joshua?
Joshua's robbed a 3rd round stoppage. Say what you like. Look, you can say what you like about Joshua, his performance, but at the end of the day, most of them rounds, what we're saying he was sloppy, he shouldn't have been. He should have got the stoppage in 3 rounds. Pulev was out, turned his back. Basically, when a fighter turns his back, that should be it, really. I mean, it just showed he didn't want no more, and he was lucky to survive. It's just AJ let him off the hook, and that's why we're having this conversation about these things that he was doing wrong.
Or is it that Pulev has a great chin and managed to recover?
He's got, very fucking good chin. Very good chin. I'll give him that. That's the only thing he has got good at the moment, because nothing else was working for him. Dreadful performance.
All right. Caller, anything else?
Yeah, it's not so... Okay, you mentioned Pulev's chin. It's not that... Pulev is a tough guy, but I expect... I don't know, I think AJ, if he was just more aggressive... I just don't see AJ as a guy who needs to be, there's still excessive backpedaling to me. Excessive, just reluctance to engage. That's what I see. And because Tyson Fury is taller and has he's a taller fighter, he's got a good jab, and he knows how to move. AJ's going to have to revert back to his aggressive boxer puncher style when he goes up against Tyson Fury.
Yeah, that long right hand of Tyson Fury is going to be a massive problem for Joshua. I mean, he was just getting away from Pulev's right hands, just ducking under them and slipping them. But Tyson Fury is going to come from further distance, but it's going to be a lot quicker, a lot snappier. And I just think Joshua just struggles with right hands, and the way he reacts as well in the hold. I mean, I don't know, man. He's very vulnerable. He's very vulnerable at certain times, Joshua, but he's also very dangerous. That's why he's a hard man to pick in a fight. When you know. So
what type of Joshua?
Even this fight with Pulev, even though he's much better than Pulev, I was still worried that Pulev might land one. But then when you saw Pulev in the ring, the first few seconds was enough to know that this was never going to be the case. It was going to be a one-sided beatdown.
What type of Joshua do you guys want to see? You saying he should be? He needs to revert back to the more aggressive Joshua. Can you give an example of a fight where you saw a Joshua that you liked in his previous fights, like against Dylan White, against that small, what's his name? That heavyweight that was 6 feet tall or something.
Takam?
Really bad. Takam.
Carlos Takam.
Like, which fight do you guys? You know what I mean? You know my question. You understand?
I mean, the way you fought Klitschko. To be honest with you, that was the most exciting. All right, he nearly got fucking knocked cold out, but that was still Klitschko, man. That's an all-time great. But
wait, Stu. He was running away from Klitschko too after he got dropped and tired. He was moving away. So
that's Joshua, guys. There's no other Joshua.
There's no other Joshua.
There's no other Joshua.
This is what you get.
Point I'm trying to make. I don't know which Joshua you guys want to see. That's Joshua.
No, you just asked me which one I want to see, and I just told you. Does it?
All right. Fair enough. That's true. So you want to see the one where he got dropped by Klitschko and it was a fucking 50-50 fight going.
I tell you what, that Anthony Joshua that night wouldn't even have gone 9 rounds with Pulev. That'd have been over in 5. Probably 3 actually.
Okay, maybe, and that's a good. But hold on, but isn't it understandable that Joshua doesn't want to make the same mistake that he made against Andy Ruiz in New York?
Totally understandable. I get it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't get it, but I'm here to analyze Joshua's performance, and you've got to say what's there, criticizing
the guy.
But I do. You know what? I did say what the caller said. I said that yesterday or the day before, I believe, that when you see a guy that's 6'6" or 6'5", whatever he might be, 250 plus pounds, you expect the guy to go out there and rip people apart. Now, to Joshua's credit, he's doing that. He's stopping them. And again, he's not doing it until the 10th or 11th round like Klitschko used to do after fucking tiring them out via sexual assault. But at least, I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive. And I think that's dependent upon him losing a little bit more weight, a little bit more muscle mass, I should say.
Look, you can't look. The jab looked beautiful last night. The jab, Joshua's jab's really improved. He's starting to read right hands a bit better. I'm seeing him improving, but it's the mental side of the thing, the sport that I'm a bit worried about at the moment. I still don't think he's got over that defeat, and that's making him cagey and hesitant. I think he's worried about exchanging and getting caught with a big shot. Of course he is, and that's what it does to you. But Pulev was never going to be dangerous enough in mid-range and in the pocket to cause that anyway. Because as soon as Joshua got past the jab and that feeble right hand Pulev was throwing, it was tee-off time, weren't it? On Pulev.
You know what, Stu? I asked a question on Friday. You weren't there on that episode, but I asked the people a question, which was, they keep saying that AJ is fragile, and I asked, well, who isn't fragile?
Way.
Fury's been dropped.
That's what I said,
stopped,
man. Cunningham. Yes.
Povetkin's been stopped, and dropped. So, everybody's a little bit vulnerable. It's a heavy division.
There's no way he's fragile. He's not fragile. That shot that fucking Klitschko landed on him would have knocked out a buffalo. So there's no way this guy's fragile. He's got a big heart as well. He'll keep fighting. He kept getting up against Ruiz, didn't he? He just had nothing in the tank. He's not fragile. Mentally, he could be a little bit stronger. I think that's because you remember nervous energy can be the downfall for a fighter. David Price will tell you that his tank's empty the time he's even got in the ring. The bells rang, so that he's probably putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he's overthinking fights. But look, when you're in a position Anthony Joshua is, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Full stop. One defeat, and you could be a meme. Do you know what I mean? So,
all right,
I get it. I really do.
We're making some people are making a big deal out of this performance, the Joshua against Pulev. But I don't remember, and I'm not talking about Juice too. I'm talking about people in the chat. People making a big deal when Fury didn't look that good against Otto Wallin. So,
but Fury didn't. Okay, so the issue with AJ is like he's disarming himself because he's scared to shoot. He's scared to shoot all his. Shoot all his ammo. You know what I mean? He's. I don't think the answer, because you gassed against Klitschko or Ruiz, is to run, because when you run, you kind of give the impression that you don't want to fight. You're hesitant, you're tentative, You don't want to engage, and that gives guys confidence. That gives guys the opportunity later on in the fight. That's why you see back in the day when you saw Klitschko, you seen Emmanuel Stewart yelling at him. Even Lennox Lewis, get the guy out of here. You don't want to give a guy an opportunity to get back into the fight in the heavyweight division. You know, with Ruiz, I think the answer there, and with Klitschko, keep your hands up, move your head. You know, it's not, take 4 rounds, 5 rounds off and start running around, dancing around the ring. I don't think that's the answer. Some of the other fights where he was really offensive that I liked was the Dillian White fight, the Klitschko fight that was mentioned, Kevin Johnson. But I just don't think the answer for AJ is let me disarm myself, you know, so that I don't gas out and so that I don't get hit. I think you got to be who you are, do what you do, maybe enhance it, maybe improve it with better defense, but you got to go into the ring and knock these guys out. Don't give these guys.
Well,
he was giving Pulev opportunities. Pulev,
that Dillian White fight, that Dillian White fight, he got tired in that one too. After he dropped Dillian White, I heard him actually. So
he threw too many punches. He threw too many punches.
If he's gonna improve, he's gotta lean down.
Yeah,
because this whole thing about keeping all those big biceps are good to a certain extent in boxing, but not when they're that size. Those big arms, they start weighing in on him. Like Stu said, 6th, 7th round, he starts looking like a loose robot, like a marionette. Because
he starts to lose his shape and stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, and look, first 4 rounds. I mean, the thing with Joshua, he looks brilliant in a couple of rounds, looks world class, and then he looks average in the next 2 rounds or so. You just don't know what he's very. What's the word? Inconsistent with his form. If you get what I'm saying, it's like even in the Klitschko fight, you know, there's moments where he looked brilliant and then he looked terrible and then he looked brilliant and again. It's just keeping his form, keeping his shape, and that's all down to fitness, mental fatigue. Once you start getting tired, that's when you start losing shape and you know and stuff. You start to fall apart. But I thought it was a very good. I was very impressed with what Joshua was doing, but I was just disgusted by what Pulev was doing. That's my problem. The guy is absolutely useless. I mean, he shouldn't even have been in there. But you can't blame Joshua because the IBF put Pulev in that position and he had to fight the guy. But this is why I didn't buy the card. I just thought I said this stylistically, this is a match made in heaven for Joshua. He's gonna bust Pulev up and he's gonna look pretty doing it. And he did. He just, like I said, he just probably being too caged. He cost him in the end because he allowed Pulev to hang around far too long, and that's why we're having this conversation now.
All right. So what were the questions that we had after the Ruiz fight, the rematch? What were the questions? Is he mentally strong? Can he stop somebody again? I don't remember all the questions, but did he answer some of those questions, guys? Whatever questions you had.
He answered some questions and hasn't answered the others, if you get what I'm saying.
Which one didn't he answer?
I think his jab has improved a lot. I think he's slipping shots a little bit better. He's not as I think defensively he's better. I think he's improved. I think it's, like I said, it's just a couple of things he needs to. A couple of things he just needs to address. That's being hesitant at times when he should be letting his hands go, and obviously fitness. I still think he could work on that a little bit because, like I said, from 6 to 9, he sort of like falls apart, and then he gets a second wind again. You know, weird.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Stu, man. That I think he did a very good job of being the consequential. Or the quintessential, I should say consequential, the quintessential boxer punch. He controlled the distance. You know what I didn't like though? With the performance. Some people are saying, oh yeah, I enjoyed the fight. I didn't really enjoy the fight. There were too many clinches. That's why I don't watch the heavyweights that much anymore. It's especially these big ass heavyweights where every time they both throw a shot at the same time, they fall into a clinch. That's why I think the Fury Joshua fight is actually going to be very boring. Depending also on what Fury does. If Fury decides to box from the outside, they're just going to be staring at each other. And every time both guys simultaneously launch a shot, they're going to fall into a clinch. And it's going to be a hogfest. That's what I think. But look, Joshua, he, like Stu said, pumping that jab, he's got underrated boxing skills. People like to say that he got gifted a gold medal in the Olympics and therefore he's not really that good. But look, at this point...
He's got skills, man. He's got skills.
He's got skills, yeah.
And I tell you what, that right hand is very dangerous, man. Very dangerous.
Uppercut.
If If Joshua's sitting there in the right distance to land that right hand on you, you're in big trouble. The thing with Tyson Fury, master at judging the distance, he's got a lot longer than Pulev. Pulev he looked a small guy in there compared to Joshua the other night. It's going to be the other way round with Fury in there. He controls the distance a lot better. So it's going to be harder for Joshua to land that big right hand on Fury. But if he does, then Fury's in all sorts of bother because that's a serious shot he's got in the arsenal there.
Hey, what do you guys think? Obviously, the right uppercut is not as devastating as Wilder's single punch right hand, but I mean, it's a pretty strong weapon he's got. I mean, that uppercut looks like it just like you can tell when guys get hit by that, they go, "Oh snap! I don't want to get hit by that again." Like
Beautiful shot, mate. Technically very good. Puts a lot of power on it. Lovely shot. He was doubling it up. He was tripling it up at times. Knows what he's doing with that uppercut. I love to see fights throwing uppercut. It's a sort of punch we don't see enough of these days. Because obviously it leaves you vulnerable. But when Josh was throwing them uppercuts, mate, he's taking these people out. I mean, that shot nearly took Pulev's head off. Dillian White will tell you what Joshua and uppercuts like. I mean, he was fucking dead on the ropes for about 5 minutes after it. So, you know, the guy's got a serious... He's got a very good arsenal of punches, punch selection. There's no one better in the heavyweight division. He has lovely... when he's throwing combinations, it's lovely to watch. But it's other things in there, you know, that he's lacking, and that's why.
Right, those uppercuts, man, they're gonna be his ace in the hole against Fury, because Fury is a very good inside fighter in the sense that, you know, he knows how to manhandle people on the inside. But if Joshua can catch him trying to come in, like that's what he's gonna have to use. A lot of those uppercuts, hooks on the inside, short combinations really make Fury work for it.
See, I don't think Fury can fight Joshua like he did Wilder. I think he's going to have to fight. He's going to have to fight Joshua like he did Wilder in the first fight, if you get what I'm saying. But obviously, with a lot fitter and in better shape. I think they're the sort of tactics. I think if he fights like he did against Wilder, you got to remember Wilder's got no inside game. So as soon as Fury's inside doing his work, nothing's coming back. Well, with Joshua, you're in his fucking zone. He starts letting them combinations go. You're in big trouble. So for me, I'd be using the jab and the right hand all night. I would make it quite boring. I think that's what Fury could do. When people say Fury's going to go in there and dismantle Joshua, I just don't think that'd be the game plan at all.
By the way, the title of the video that today's live stream is Tyson Fury is docking Deontay Wilder by fighting Anthony Joshua. The whole point for that title is to piss Wilder fanatics off, because I watched some of their videos and they're still talking about Wilder. They're saying, "Oh, Tyson Fury is docking Wilder by fighting Joshua." You guys are out of your fucking minds, anyways.
You know, talking about Wilder is about as relevant right now as talking about Obama in the presidential race. It's irrelevant, man.
Oh,
Forget about it. We don't want to see Wilder. We want to see these two in there. Look, the two best heavyweights in the world by a distance, by the look of it. So let's get it on.
Yeah, let's do it. That fight should happen next. I think it's going to happen next. There's no point in Fury or Joshua fighting somebody else at this point. And Wilder is irrelevant. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, I'm sorry he's your favorite boxer, but he got destroyed against Tyson Fury. Destroyed. There's no point in a third fight. Stop it, man. Just stop it. Go ahead.
Can I add I just want to say that throw a little bit of credit Wilder's way. I still think, and I've said this before, that 1-2 is so quick and powerful, and the heavyweights of today, especially the lower top 10 guys, they're so unequipped and to deal with that just by virtue of having that weapon, Wilder can beat any of those guys. The question I suppose is, can he beat Fury? And again, can he beat Fury in a rubber match, or Joshua? And I think at this point he does need to come back against somebody else first to show us that he's not mentally broken, because his behavior since that loss in February has been indicative of a guy who's losing his grip on reality and who didn't expect to get brutalized the way he did.
All right,
so I think he needs to come back against somebody else.
Yeah, if you want to see Wilder fight again to see whether or not he's mentally strong again, that's understandable. He might be mentally okay. But if you're expecting Deontay Wilder to show you something different in terms of skills, you're out of your fucking mind. Like that train has. I mean, it's over, man. How many chances are we giving Wilder now?
Yeah. Oh, the thing that gives Wilder a chance against Joshua, and this is the only thing that gives Wilder a chance. Like I said, Joshua's vulnerability to the right hand. The way Joshua was ducking down against Pulev's right hand was exactly the way Tyson Fury ducked down against Wilder in the first fight and got caught with that big shot. And Wilder, that's probably the only shot that Wilder knows how to throw. And that would be his chance for me.
Yeah,
the
I
only
agree.
chance he's got.
I agree. We have Jay and Gonzalo. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me as always.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Jay? How's it going, Bucho?
Hey, what's up? Let's start with Jay. Your thoughts on Anthony Joshua?
I love the title because it made me laugh. I even posted on BDA's Discord about really fighting for more money and titles is ducking. That's delusional. So there's no contest here. The only two heavyweights that matter. Basically, Stu said it best. It's like talking about Obama in the presidential race. It's over. Those are the only two that matter. And Wilder's not shown that he can handle anything Fury has to offer. I was on the Joshua bandwagon against Wilder the whole time. So my take is the fact that these two have to fight.
Yep. What about AJ's performance last night? Your thoughts?
The highlights that I saw, he looked solid. Stood still a little too much. Didn't use a lot of movement, but he didn't have to because he didn't have to find the guy. And he didn't need to move to set anything up. The guy was right in front of him. And his power was evident. He was a 40-year-old guy, but he got him out.
All right. Hey, guys, before we get to Gonzalo, let's just take a phone call. 334, you're on the air. 334.
What's going on, man? It's Tony Reviews. How you doing?
What's up, man? Your thoughts on AJ?
I thought AJ looked very good last night. I thought there was time where he should have pressed the action. So, like, what I mean by that is he let Pulev kind of get back into the fight when he had him hurt because he kind of took his foot off the gas. But at the same time, I mean, I look at it two different ways. One way is, he let a guy get back into the fight, which is a negative. But at the same time, that was the fatal error he made in the first Ruiz fight where he got too aggressive and got caught because of it. So,
that's right.
That is what it is. But the one thing that I've been saying since I saw him fight Ruiz in the second fight, in my opinion, has not changed after seeing this fight is 240 is too small for AJ. He lacks power at 240 pounds. And I'm going to give my case, okay?
Go ahead.
I thought you were going to say something. But anyways, this is my case to that. There was 3 different occasions in that fight where the first time AJ called Pulev with about 3 consecutive uppercuts back-to-back. Then he called him another time with 4 uppercuts back-to-back. Then there was another time where he called him with 5 uppercuts back-to-back, and Pulev ate him with no issues or problems. Had AJ been heavier like he's been in the past, I don't see how Pulev would have taken him shots. So from what I have seen in that second Ruiz fight where he didn't hurt Ruiz at all, and in this fight, he's landed some hellacious shots that normally he knocks guys out with that don't seem to have the same muster. They don't seem to have the same effect. And I think him weighing 240 pounds is a fatal error when he goes in there against a guy like Tyson Fury.
Interesting point.
There's 2 coins to that. There's 2 sides to that coin, man. Because if he goes in there heavy against Fury, that muscle's going to weigh him down. And if he lacks power, I don't know, man. It's going to depend on what we see in the ring. Like, does he want to go for speed against a guy like Fury, or does he want to match Fury bulk for bulk? I don't know which one would be the best.
Joshua would have to go in the same shape he was really against Ruiz in the first fight. That sort of shape. He's got to be in the sort of shape where he's going to fight 12 rounds because the likelihood is it could go 12 because if Fury starts fighting cagey, and look, like I've said before, after 6-7 rounds, Joshua starts to fade. That's when Fury starts to come in strong in the fight. He starts to.
Hey, BDA, I don't mean to cut him off, but I'm getting a phone call that I have to answer. I thank you for letting me or having me on. I might call back later. Thank you again. Sorry I had to go like this.
No problem.
So yeah, I think the lighter Joshua is the better for him. I think if he comes in all muscly like he did Ruiz one, it's the last thing you don't want to be sitting there robotic and stiff and losing the tank quickly against someone like Fury. It's just the recipe for disaster. So look, I'd go with the shape he was in with Ruiz too, and I'd probably I don't know what game plan I'd have to use. I don't think boxing Fury from range is going to work. So he has to get behind his guard, stroll forward, and try and let his hands go, and hope he can land on one.
He can land an uppercut, left hook, straight right. Those things can land against
Fury's over. When you get in the pocket and start letting him go, Joshua, because he's very dangerous when he's there.
That's right. Gonzalo, if you want to jump in, you can jump in.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Your thoughts. Start with that. AJ, what do you think about his performance?
My thoughts. Anthony Joshua looked very good. You can't ask a fighter to do anything differently when he won, because you never know what's in the other guy's heart. And, you got to think on your feet in real time. No two things are the same in boxing. No two punches from two different fighters on that specific night is going to be something that you saw him do in real time in another fight against another opponent. One punch can change everything. So what he did on this night got him the victory, and he got the knockout, and all around it was a solid performance. What Anthony Joshua did is he hurt the guy like he did Andy Ruiz in the third round. I saw that pattern. Similar. And he couldn't knock him out because when he went for the kill, he went with the right, left, with two punches, left, left hook, and Pulev didn't hook back with them. He didn't even throw a punch when he got hurt. Andy Ruiz did. Okay, so he survived. He survived that first initial attack and eventually got him out of there. It was a solid performance, and he showed that his gas tank is good. That he can control his breathing, and whether he can get the guy out of there or not, he can still come around and put the hurt in on you again and take his time and break you down like he did Pulev. Because you never know what's in Pulev's heart. He survived for some reason. He got off the canvas 2 times. He made it to the bell and was able to gather his marbles, and still was able to, throughout the course of the remaining of the fight, he was able to land a good shot to Joshua. And Joshua was able
I don't remember that, Gonzalo.
It was a right hand.
About them ones, because I don't remember any shot landing on Joshua all night.
One punch can.
It was a right hand. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Overextended.
One punch. Are we really gonna fucking star jump for one shot?
How many people get knocked out with one punch? One punch. He was able.
How many times has Pulev knocked someone out with one punch?
Many times.
I had to check his record.
At world level.
But the fact of the matter is, he survived it. At world level, Joshua is shown to have a vulnerable chin at times.
By the way, if you're gonna, can I just say something? If you're gonna complain about this performance from AJ, then I hope you're not gonna. No, not you, Gonzalo, but other. No.
He was able to do what many people had it. I know, but just let me say. I decided to. He was able to do and answer a question that maybe was in a lot of people's minds regarding what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't gonna say something. Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying, most of it. But just gonna say that if you're complaining about Joshua's performance and you're one of these Klitschko fanatics, don't get me wrong. I think Klitschko was the dominant heavyweight. There's no dispute. He was a good heavyweight. But come on, some of his performance were the same as what we saw yesterday from Joshua. I mean,
worse.
Even worse. Because he was clinching.
Right?
At least AJ wasn't clinching. At least AJ wasn't clinching the whole fucking time. Yeah. This is what he could get away with that in Germany. But he stopped the guy. So wow, this is the same as a Klitschko performance. So just pointing.
I'm a Klitschko fan, Butcho, right? And I think Joshua did the boxing world a favor that night when he beat Klitschko.
There you have it.
And you know what? Can I say something about the excitement? Because look, I agree. Would I like to see Joshua be a little bit more exciting or open up a little bit more? Sure. The reason why I'm giving him some slack here is because it's the heavyweight division. It's unlike any other division. So whereas I criticize guys in the past, like Rigondeaux, for example, and I said, look, I want this guy to throw more combinations. I'm not saying he should go in there and fight like a Turgati. That's insane. But what I'm saying is, when he was fighting on the undercard of Cotto Canelo, or I forget which one, where he fought a late replacement and fought as if he was fighting Deontay Wilder in there. Nah, man. I mean, you got to open up with at least a couple of combinations. Joshua, on the other hand, I think this is about as good as he can do. He knows that he can break a guy down if he just lands 5 heavy shots around. He's already proven that. So I don't understand why he should try to open up and risk getting caught. This is the heavyweight division.
But I get that, BDA. I get that, but he's got Pulev in there who's bringing 0 to the table. I mean, that right hand telegraph slow. You're seeing them all day long. Doesn't have. Did you see that? Did you see that left hook he tried to throw? Right. I mean, fucking, it was like a clothesline. It was like a swinging clothesline. It was just dreadful to watch.
Man. Until he gets hurt.
No uppercuts, no body shots, nothing in the pocket, nothing at mid-range, just lunging in with donkey slow right hands. Come on, man. There's nothing coming back at Joshua. Joshua, I can see why Joshua's hesitant when he's in there with dangerous guys, but Pulev wasn't dangerous in there. Pulev wouldn't have. We could still be in the ring now, and Pulev still wouldn't land a good shot on Joshua.
But listen. He threw the wad at him in that round where he hurt him the first time. I forget which one it was, third or whatever. But he threw everything he had, and the guy was still standing up. So why risk blowing your wad and not just say, I do agree though that there was a point where he was very inactive. That's what he needs to fix. I agree. But what I'm saying is...
No, listen, I'm not expecting him to go in there and throw 15 punch combinations. I'm going to pick your shots and pick your moments, but I still think, he let Pulev back in a fight he had no business in. That's my point.
I agree.
Listen, the difference between... Like I said, I don't want to bring Mike Tyson at this, but Mike Tyson, if he's got you out like that, you're dead. But where Joshua just fucking... He didn't let Pulev back in the fight because Pulev was doing nothing, but he was still hanging around when he shouldn't have been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you're heavyweight, I don't think you want to throw more than 4 punch combination inside the pocket, because you gotta get out, you gotta hightail it out of there, or you gotta be prepared because the other guy's gonna fight back, But I saw that Anthony Joshua, he's never gonna open with the 5 punch combination. He's gonna open. He's really smart in the sense that he can pick a shot in his brain and throw it. In his mind, he can throw a punch and land it. So he's got that ability to pick a punch and throw it and land it. And once he lands that punch, he's expecting to hurt you. And then that's when he goes to the kill for the kill. He goes for the kill. Yeah. So that's his style. But I saw him throwing a lot of left and right hooks. Like and the other guy didn't, like Stu said, he didn't retaliate, where other guys might retaliate. And the latter part, when he got the knockout, he used uppercuts. He should use the uppercut more when he's going to go for the kill.
Yeah, see, Joshua's got all the punches in his arse, all the punches. He's, like I said, very, very nice on the eye to watch when he's letting his hands go. I think he's stuck between 2 styles at the moment, and he's getting mixed up at times. He don't know whether to fight Cage on the back foot or put his foot on the gas and let his hands go. He's in between half the time, and so that's probably why it looks like that. But yeah, I'm not sure if he really knows how he wants to fight.
I think he incorporated those 2 styles better than what he did in the second.
I thought he was quite composed. To be honest with you, I thought he was quite composed at times in there. I mean, look, he did look quite calm and composed in there.
Good,
but just hesitant and cagey at times, and just worrying about something that was never going to come. Do you know what I mean?
Right. You know what, man? I'm looking at the top 10 list here from Ring Magazine in the heavyweight division. Number 10 was Kubrat Pulev. 9 is Rivas, 8 Hunter. Anyway, I'm looking at the list, and I'm looking at number 3 Povetkin. Josh already took him out. Number 4 White. Josh already beat him. Ruiz, number 6, already beaten by Joshua. Number 7, Joseph Parker. Again, another guy Joshua's beaten. And now Pulev, who is number 10. I mean, that's about as good a resume you can get at heavyweight. Now, I'm not saying Joshua. I'm not saying Joshua great, no, because Povetkin was the best of him, and I can only what a prime Povetkin, 3-4. I mean, not prime, but like just a guy from 3-4 years ago. If he could have kept that pace up that he was having in the early rounds, I wonder how Joshua would have reacted to it. But the point is, right now, Joshua has the resume in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people that want to criticize him and say, well, like he can't fight this way against these guys. I'm sorry, but the heavyweight division right now is pretty thin. There's not that many guys out there that are going to be able to school him throughout 12 rounds. Maybe Fury, if he tires him out, can beat him. Maybe Uzi can dance around him for 12 rounds, and Wilder might take him out there with 1 shot. But other than that, do you guys really the 7 other guys? Would you favor those guys over Joshua? I mean,
No, to be fair, I think Joshua still knocks out Usyk. I mean, I don't know with Usyk. I don't know, man. I'll probably have to a bit closer to the fight, analyze it then. But I think Joshua might be a bit too strong for Usyk. I do. Usyk's pretty in that lot, but I just don't think on the back foot looking slick. But at heavyweight, he just slows him down a little. He's slowing him down a half a yard, and sometimes that half a yard's the difference between being asleep and being awake. And I just think
that's true.
And I just think, like I said, the way Chisora was allowed to work on Usyk. I know he never looked like winning that fight, but Joshua is just a lot more explosive, you know. And like I said, in his punch selection, he's got most of his shots are technically very good. So he knows what he's doing when he's letting his hands go. The problem I've got with Joshua is when they're coming at him, he seems to be clueless at times.
I say, BDA, that you got to, like, maybe, I don't know, consider what Povetkin has done after Joshua beat him. He came on to get a draw against Michael Hunter, and he knocked out Dillian White. So even an older Povetkin, I mean, is still good. And you never know on that night if he came to win, like, really hard, but still got stopped by Joshua, like, you know, Nonito United, but this is the heavyweights. Let me see. When Muhammad Ali was an old past his prime guy and beat the puncher and Ernie Shavers back in the day, right? And that was like a half, I'm not going to say retarded, but like the Parkinson's thing. He was a shell of himself.
Right.
So sometimes you never know, man.
Yeah, I get your point, though. I get your point. And it's true, you know, because, I mean, look, listen, this Joshua, like Butcher was saying too, also, like this is what we've got with Joshua. But, you know, we're not going to see a lot of guys be able to get the best of him, just like schooling him. Now, as to Stu's point about Usyk, I actually think Joshua's style plays into Usyk's hands a little bit. I'm not saying Usyk beats him, but what we're criticizing Joshua for right now, which is being a little bit too tentative, that's to Usyk's advantage, because it's going to become that type of fight he wants. An outside fight, a guy not pressing him too much, using the weight advantage. And that's what Usyk is going to want. Fury, on the other hand, I think that's the nightmare matchup for Usyk. But for Joshua right now, man, I mean, things are looking good. He could potentially do a derby against Joyce if he keeps winning and looking impressive. You never know. That could be a big money fight, especially if they open up crowds again in the UK. He can fight Fury. That would be the biggest one, of course. But the guy's got options in the future. So, I mean, really, Joshua right now, I've
just got a feeling Usyk could be his next fight, you know.
Oh shit! Wait a minute,
man.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, the thing is, I just don't see Fury and Joshua happen unless this COVID thing's over. They're going to put 90,000 in Wembley Stadium for that one. Trust me on that. They
won that lottery.
They can't afford to put that fight on without crowds. And I mean, even I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas got that fight. Do you know what I mean? But we have to.
But the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas will make money without the crowd.
Stu,
you know what I mean? But
Saudi Arabia.
No, that fight. If that's in Saudi Arabia, then I'll be very disappointed, man. I don't want to watch that fight with about 10 fucking billionaire Arabs sitting there with their fucking hookers next to them.
Are you going? So are you going over there? Who like? Let's say the fight's in Las Vegas or Saudi Arabia. You're not gonna go to those fights, I think, right? So what's the difference? I don't give a shit. Honestly, it's better if it's Saudi Arabia.
That fight's got to be in the UK, mate. We deserve that. We deserve that, mate.
That's true.
That fight's our fight. Let us have it.
But even if Eddie Hearn said, though, Eddie Hearn said that, no, look, if the fight happens, I would like it to happen in the UK, but it's all dependent upon like whether they open it up again and allow crowds in, blah, blah, blah. So if they pay him enough in Saudi Arabia, you bet your ass he's taking that fight to Saudi Arabia, man. Now,
well, that's a bad day for boxing then.
Would you go? Would you guys go? If you have, let's say somebody
it's like when the FIFA sold out to the United Arab Emirates when they gave them the World Cup. That was a bad day for football. A real bad day for football.
Hey, if a friend of yours comes to you guys and says, "Hey, listen, I got a free ticket." If one of your friends comes over to you and goes, "Listen, I got a free ticket for the fight. You just got to pay like for the plane ticket, whatever." Would you guys go?
Mate, if I went to Saudi Arabia, I'd end up getting fucking beheaded over there for something.
you'd be up to your neck in sand before they stone you,
Stoned
right?
to death, stoned to death, and fucking kissing a woman on a beach or something. Get out of here.
People in the chat saying it's gonna happen in Saudi Arabia. Well, there you have it. I don't really care.
Shit.
People, phone lines are open. Call in. Don't be shy. Call in, and I see we have some Wilder fanboys. You can also call in. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
They're gonna accuse Fury of putting sand in his gloves. Sand gets everywhere. It gets inside everything.
Yeah. Good point. I hate sand. All right, going back. Okay, so now let's look at the future here. AJ and Tyson Fury. So it's true, though. I mean, Usyk is the mandatory for that WBO belt that AJ has, and Usyk has stated that no matter what happens with AJ and Fury, he says, I want to fight for that WBO belt next. So whether it's against AJ or against somebody else for a vacant belt, that's what's going to happen. So what do you guys think? What do you want? What do you want to see next?
Well, what do you think? Oh, it's not fucking rocket
Okay,
science.
no, that's true. That's not. But Stu, hold on. That's a good. Yeah, I fucked up the question.
Yeah. Again.
If Fury and AJ can't fight in Wembley Stadium and in England,
Yeah.
would you rather see then Joshua fight Usyk in the meantime and then later get that mega fight?
Look, that's an option I'd be happy for Joshua. But Fury's got to fight someone decent as well. You can't keep saying, "Well, Joshua, put this dangerous guy in with Joshua," and then Fury goes and fights Wallen again or something. No, he has to go and fight someone good himself. Do you know? So to make it relevant, if that happens. But if it doesn't happen in Wembley Stadium, then Las Vegas. If not Las Vegas, then delay it till it can happen in England. I just don't want it to be put on in Saudi Arabia. And
okay, but Stu, you do understand that AJ has to fight Usyk at that if that happens, if that scenario takes place where AJ can't fight Fury.
That's what I'm happy with that fight. I'm happy for that fight.
Okay. Hey, let's take.
I'm just saying if they can't, because I can understand why they can't make Fury Wilder. I'm sorry, Joshua right now, because that fight has to happen if it's in England in front of a crowd. We just can't fund that fight without the crowd. And all the big build up to it, you know, that'd be a massive occasion over here, and that's what I fund. But with the Saudis, they can fund that with a pocket change, but it's not going to have the same feel about it, the same atmosphere. I mean, look, no one's going to care over there about that fight, so it's either Vegas or Wembley, or let's just delay it for a bit. Get Usyk to fight Joshua. And then, because he's going to have to fight Usyk eventually, because Usyk's going nowhere, and he's a mandatory for Joshua. So get Usyk out of the way, and then Tyson Fury, he's going to probably have to fight Wilder again. Then, you know, let that fight happen again. I don't.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Care to see, but there's no one else, is there?
Yeah, but you're Eddie Hearn. You're not going to risk AJ fighting Usyk when you have a big fight against Fury.
Yeah, but
so
maybe not. Yeah, this is where we are. I don't think Eddie Hearn's confidence is as high in Joshua as it used to be. I said that last week. That's why I think we try and stall, hoping that Joshua can find a little bit of form back, which he's starting to get back for me. I thought it was a decent performance, but it's what was coming back at him. Nothing. So, I still think I think Hearn would rather make the Usyk fight first. What I've seen from Usyk at heavyweight, I think it's going to be a tough night for him to beat Joshua. I really do.
Let's take a phone call. 612, you're on the air. 612.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thanks, everyone. This was a good performance from Joshua. I think if he can, but he has to fight more on the inside, because against Fury, I think he'll be the smaller guy. So he'll have to cut off the ring more and corner Fury and basically do what Fury did to Wilder. He needs to do to Fury, because if he allows Fury to dance around the ring, Fury will win that boxing match. So yeah, he has to be little less hesitant. I think he has a good inside game, but he has to be little less hesitant and
more aggressive.
He has a good shot at beating Fury.
So you want to see a more aggressive AJ, smart or aggressive?
A little more aggressive because maybe the first few rounds he can dance it out with Fury, but in the later rounds, I think he has to get more aggressive and finish the show.
All right.
He can't win I don't think he can win a boxing
He
match.
has to pick his moments right. He has to pick the right moments, but he has to make it pay when he does pick them moments. He's got to let his hands go and make it look good on the judge's eyes and put damage on these guys. You know, this guy is at his best when he's throwing punches. He needs to stop trying to. I think he's got in his head where he's a back foot fighter sometimes. He can look slick, Muhammad Ali style. He's never going to be Cassius Clay, Ali, whoever. He's never going to be that guy.
No.
So just do what you do best. That's what I liked about Carl Froch. Carl Froch knew he had a lot of flaws. You know, he was sometimes dreadful to watch on the eye. He used to his balance, his fucking technique was horrible, but he knew what he did good and he stuck to it and it won him world titles. And that's what you got to do, stick to what you know best. When you start to try and be someone you're not, yeah, you'll end up fucking paying for that. Do you know what I mean? Especially in there with someone like Fury, he knows what he's doing.
Correct.
So stick to what you do best.
Anything else, caller?
Yeah, just one last point. I don't know why everyone's underestimating Callum Smith a lot. I just rewatched the George Groves fight. I think he has a pretty good jab. And I have watched his other highlights, and it looks like he's got a good inside game as well. So I think he's really got a legit shot at beating Canelo.
Yeah, caller. People keep.
I'll get off the line. Thanks.
Caller, the John Ryder fight. Everybody keeps mentioning that fight. So, yeah.
The John Ryder fight is one off. I think he underestimated John Ryder, but he'll be much more well prepared. I think that was a good wake up call for Callum Smith, and he'll be ready for Canelo.
All right.
Yeah,
well, thank you for calling.
I agree with the caller.
Thank you.
I agree with the caller. The problem with Callum Smith, when he's not up for a fight, he gets stuck in like second gear and he just can't up the gears, and he gets dragged into fights that he's got no business like being in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think when there's a dangerous guy in there, well, like it don't get no more dangerous than Canelo. I think you're going to see a real good Callum Smith. I just don't think it's not going to be enough.
But if people think that Canelo is going to fight like John Ryder, I don't know what you guys think. I mean,
I know.
like going forward like that. All right.
Something similar. I'm sorry, Bucho.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk. Gonzalo. We'll talk more about that fight. We have some show. We have shows ready this week concerning the Canelo Smith fight, so we'll get to that later. Revolution.
By the way, Bucho, you're in rehab. You got out. Hey,
yeah. Apparently, according to Gonzalo, I was in rehab, so maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't.
Hey, Bucho, get somebody. Hey, we got 195 people in the chat.
Yeah.
Give us a like, guys, man.
Hit the like button. Come on.
Time watching boxing, you can't even give us a like, man. Real selfish world we live in today.
I am strong.
Do you know what I mean? Give us a like, guys.
I will rise again.
All right, come on, give us a like. We have Revolucion and Pete.
Revolucion has just joined the panel. What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man?
Man, let me tell you about this AJ Pulev. My one little hot take. Well, I think it was in the first round, like the moment that kind of set the tone for me when Pulev first started getting hurt, and he did that shit where he just, you see a boxer turn his back and run away from his opponent. He did that shit like twice. I was like, yeah, okay, I know where this is heading. He just relinquished totally and just turned and ran to the corner. That was the first knockdown. He turned and ran from Joshua.
Do you think he should have been disqualified, Revolution?
Yeah.
Or no, not disqualified, sorry. The fight waved off, sorry.
Guys,
when he turned it back like that.
He was out of it. He
wasn't even going down. He didn't take a knee. It was a total standing fucking 8 count or whatever. The ref just said, hey, look, boy, you're running.
Yeah, but I think he was running. He was fucked up.
Man.
Stu, he got fucked up. He didn't turn his back on purpose. I think he was really like he didn't know where the fuck he was. So I think it was the right decision by the referee.
He was trying to block punches that weren't even being thrown at him. He was that hurt.
Yeah, that's how hard AJ hits. Listen, I think the referee made the right decision because he could have stopped the fight.
I think it should have been waved off. That's what I'm saying. I think Joshua was robbed of a 3rd round stoppage.
Oh, get out of here. Well, listen, Pulev deserved to continue. He was able to continue after that. So I think right decision. Right decision.
You should have got a stern talking to
the rules, though, bro. Rules are rules, man.
Ref should have said, "Hey, look, you fucking show me anything like that again, you're out of here." Like,
I think
you want to fight or do you want to go?
I think the ref's looking at it. This is a pay-per-view fight, man. It's a one-sided beatdown. Give this guy a couple of rounds at least to try and make a go of it. And let's be real, did Pulev really even make a go of it? I mean, I keep hearing about what a warrior Pulev is because he sat there and took an ass whooping. I mean, we can all sit there and take ass whoopings. That don't make us warriors. Come on, man. Did he really dig deep? Did he, did he give it his... No, he was just going through the motions waiting to get knocked out. And he got what he deserved. This guy should never have been in the ring that night. I mean, this guy's been hovering around the world title for as long as I can remember. I remember Pulev at 29 still fighting, and he was useless then. I mean, I've just never rated this guy. Sorry, I mean, don't like to call fighters useless, but what does this guy bring? He's got an average jab and an average right hand, and he's got nothing else.
He didn't
just
respond.
Shows how bad fucking Huey Fury is for losing to this guy, man.
He didn't respond when he was getting lit up. He didn't really fight back. Hey, Stu, what I was giving credit to, it was AJ that, when he couldn't knock him out and they had to extend and go for like more rounds, that he was able to retain his stamina and can control the pace of whatever he was doing in there, his game plan. And he did get hit with one shot. And if people thought that he had like a vulnerable chin, that he was just gonna fall over as soon as he got touched, well, AJ didn't show that necessarily. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, was never gonna. Yeah, he was never gonna knock Joshua out.
Yeah.
Look, you got to remember, right? People say about Joshua's chin, but you've got to land on Joshua. And Pulev never looked like landing all night. Them telegraphed robotic shots he was throwing would just. I mean, this guy's 40 years old and he looked it, didn't he? Let's be real. But that's not on Joshua. No, Joshua's not asked the IBF. It's the IBF for putting this guy at number one. He should be nowhere near that. But look, let's move on.
Hey, in the chat, Stu, in the chat, Joe is in the chat, 568, whatever. He's saying, Steve Kim on ESPN is reporting that Pulev collapsed at his hotel today and refused medical care. Is that true?
I have no idea, but I hope that's not true. Because look, no one wants to see a guy fucking collapsing after a fight. But he took monster shots in there. Let's not get away from that. He took some big shots from Josh, and he showed a tremendous chin. But did he go in there and look? He never looked like winning 1 second of that fight. I don't think he won 1 second of that fight, did he?
Nope.
I mean, we can think of one shot he landed in 9 rounds. One shot. That's all you guys can remember. We were talking about earlier. One shot in 9 rounds of boxing.
Well,
it don't get any worse than that, guys.
Man, when I hear Pulev's name, honestly, the first thing I think of, the first fight I think of...
He's a big boy. He's a big boy, and he's got power.
Oh, well, no. The first fight I think of is him beating up Sam Peters.
He can move around and press you at times. It's a good performance, man.
That's a good fight. AJ did what he had to do. AJ did what he had to do. And he did it, and he looked good doing it. And there's obviously, but there's still flaws there, vulnerabilities. We see that, but he did what he had to do. It's just my problems with Pulev. It always was been. That's why I didn't buy the fight. I buy all the Joshua fights, just not this one.
But Stu, why do you think? Why do you think some people in the chat perceive you as hating on Joshua? Do you think that maybe
because they're fucking stupid? They're stupid. That's why they're stupid and they don't listen.
All right, good. All right.
Dude, how long
I like Joshua.
Explain.
All I am is a guy that just comes on and gives my opinion. I just tell you what I see, and I just tell you what I see in Joshua. If you understand boxing, you'll understand that Joshua has got flaws there. He's also very dangerous as well.
Well, tell them that, Stu, appease them by letting them know the positives from this performance.
I thought there was a lot of positives. I liked the jab. Okay. The Joshua jab looked snappy, and he was using it. It was like good jab. That's how you should jab. So I was impressed with the jab. I thought he was reading the right hands a lot better because I think he's very vulnerable to a right hand, and obviously Pulev was slow and robotic, so he was seeing him coming and getting under them. Yeah, but I thought like I said, his combinations were lovely. His uppercuts, he was doubling them up, tripling them up. Very, very explosive right hand that he finished Pulev with. World class shot. I mean, there's just so many good things to say about Joshua in there, but there was also bad things in there.
He
And we're
was throwing
talking
a
about
good
him
left to the
fighting Fury
body.
next.
He was throwing a good left, a straight punch to the body, similar to what the only punch that Pulev throws. He was countering back with the same punch for punch, left hook stabbing to the body.
Look, and he was feinting as well. He was he was more feints. He was his judging of the distance seems to have improved a little bit. He's a little bit lighter on his feet. I think he's improving, but mentally there's something. Mentally, there's still something there.
Yeah,
that's not right. And obviously with his tank, I mean, I don't know if he's ever going to get that right, but he does need to improve his stamina a little bit because, like I said, Tyson Fury comes strong in the latter rounds, and that's when he's going to pile it on you, and you've got to be fit.
I remember some people saying that AJ was docking Pulev, because that fight got postponed multiple times, right? And then, they were saying, "Oh, he's avoiding that jab, that great Pulev jab." I didn't see. I'm with Stu. Pulev would look like shit. Like, what fucking jab? Like, what are these people talking about?
I know.
But maybe he
The
got
Pulev
old.
jab. I'm thinking about that jab. That jab, man. Did it land or not?
But
hey,
anyways,
man, there's a lot of look, we don't want to do triangle theory too much, but like if I'm going to draw it up real quick for you, let's see. Let's go back. Hold up, Gonzalo. Hold up.
Joshua
go
laid
back.
him
How
up
many?
too.
How many years
on.
ago was? Oh my! Does
Okay.
he ever hear me?
No, okay. Let's
right.
hold on.
How many years ago? How many years ago?
I am
First of all, was the first AJ Pulev supposed to happen? That was what 2-3 years ago that the fight was originally supposed to happen. Okay, since then, AJ has only really improved, and Pulev hasn't gotten any better. At best, he's stayed at the same level. So there's that to take away. And
he's got worse, mate.
He's got
worse. He weren't very good before, but he's got worse.
I'm being really nice. And then rewind further back, we got Klitschko as a common opponent. Klitschko blew fucking Pulev out years before AJ beat him, which was years ago already. This is such a... Marinated isn't the fucking word because, nobody was hyping this fight up, but this fight is so past its date that...
To beat AJ, you got to have fast hands. And you've got to have an inside game as well, and a mid-range game, and you got fast hands. You could fucking them slow, robotic, single punches that Pulev shows, and he's got that awkward European guard, isn't he? And he throws off that. There's just no snap behind him. It's just mate.
There should have been a headline on the newspapers, like "Pow!" right in the kisser or something. In a fucking sex pervert Pulev gets knocked out by AJ.
All right, it was Pete and Recognize. You guys can jump in anytime you want.
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me at all?
Yes, sir.
Pete.
Go ahead, Pete.
Good fight last night, man. I mean, the AJ fight you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I thought Pulev didn't look like much, but I think it was more about AJ and seeing how he was going to perform and come out mentally too. He's restless, man. That guy's ready to fight. Obviously, wish he'd slow down just a little bit and he could finish guys. He could do both. He could be responsible and knock guys out too. It just seems like he shifts gears from fainting, and as soon as he gets a guy hurt, he starts going crazy.
All right, Pete, if he fights Fury, 50-50 fight, 60-40 fight, who's the favorite?
I got AJ. I've always had AJ. In the division, I mean, I see AJ.
Yeah, Pete, you've been consistent with that one, bro. You've always said AJ.
Yeah. I think you need to adapt, change when needed to. Come on.
The thing with boxing fans, they get they exaggerate a lot, and even when either Fury fans, I mean, let's be real, even the hardcore Fury fans deep down know that Fury ain't going to go in there and blow Joshua away in 3 rounds. It's just not going to happen. Fury is going to stay away from Joshua for the first 3 or 4 rounds because it'd be the smartest thing to do because that's when he's at his most dangerous. So that fight could be a cagey affair for a while. Do you know what I mean? So to think that Joshua is not good enough to win that fight is ridiculous. Of course he can. I just think Fury, like I said, I think he's just got Joshua's number. I really do. I think the way he fights, and like I said, he can fight 12 rounds. Fury can at constant pace, where I just don't think Joshua can.
Are people overhyping
that's true.
Tyson Fury? That's the question. Are people overhyping Tyson Fury because of that Wilder performance? That second one, obviously.
He's a bit of an enigma, though, isn't he? He's a bit of an enigma. You just don't know with Tyson Fury. He can look world class in one fight and dreadful in the next. I mean, you just don't know. That's what I'm saying. If he turns up like he did against Valin, then he's getting knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
So look, you just don't know. I think he's got his mind in the game, and I think I think he's at the right gym as well. And that Kronk, I think he's only going to get better there. I just think it's the wrong time to fight Tyson Fury for me. He looks at it's probably the best he's ever been, but you just know mentally he could fall apart tomorrow. So you just don't know, do you?
Yep. Yeah, but like on Defined Exodus in the chat says overhyped. So he's calling Tyson Fury overhyped. I don't know, overhyped, maybe just hyped a little bit. Yeah, that Wallin fight was terrible. Then before that, he fought somebody, I don't remember who that guy was. That's how important that fight was.
Schwartz. Was it Schwartz guy? What his name was fucking?
Yeah. So recognize. Is Tyson Fury being overrated because of that Wilder rematch fight?
I think a lot of these guys are getting overrated. Look, I was very impressed with Joshua, but I still saw some flaws yesterday. So I don't want to overhype him. I try to keep it level. Still could see one thing he's improving on is stamina, because I felt like he could have won another 3 rounds easily in that fight. And maybe that's because of the opponent in front of him in Pulev. But yeah, of course, Tyson Fury is being a little overhyped because of what he did to Deontay Wilder. There's nothing wrong with that too, because he looked amazing in that fight.
Yeah.
Right, but it wasn't like.
I think what it was. I think Fury got a lot of the hype because Fury did what a lot of people were waiting for Joshua to do, but just wouldn't do it. Everyone was wanting Joshua to go in there and knock Wilder out. He stalled and he stalled and he stalled. Fury came through the back door and did the job, and I think Fury's took a lot of the credit for that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is the thing. I mean, when you break it down, Joshua went to America, and it was a shambles. When Fury went there, like as a fat slob just off the coast, and basically got robbed, and comes back and does that. I mean,
Stu, what do you make of?
It's a Rocky story, and that's where I think he's got a lot of the hype from.
Stu, what do you make of? What do you make of Anthony Joshua's shape? Like the new shape that he's in. He looks to have more stamina and more movement.
I said that I like it. I think that's the shape he should stay at now. It's that forget about looking good for these pictures. This is the hurt.
More like a fighter now, right? He looks more like a boxer.
But you have to be built for fighting 12 rounds because, you got to be prepared for 12 rounds. Even if you're a big puncher, you still have to go in shape for 12 rounds. And that sort of muscle he was carrying, it's just impossible to fight at a decent pace looking like that. And I like the way he's trimmed down a little bit. I still think he could trim down a little bit more for me. I really do.
He still gasses out, though. He still gasses himself out.
Yeah, he's always going to gas out, bro. Yeah. He's always going to gas out.
I don't mean long term. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I don't mean long term in terms of. It's just if you see he goes from doing very little. What the fight was? What 9 rounds? 9 rounds.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It went into the 9th round. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he starts off the first round. The first part of the fight, he starts off not jabbing at all. He's faint. He's got that like Lomachenko type of changing level downward and putting both his gloves up in there. I have no idea why he's even doing that. But when he would just stay behind his jab, which is the most efficient punch you can throw, then he lands a power shot and he hurts Pulev in the third, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's like, just calm down. I almost think he like holds his breath when he goes to finish somebody. He starts holding his breath and punching. He throws every power shot he can. Not as bad as Wilder does. Let me not exaggerate it.
He loads up on him, bro. He doesn't.
All of them, yeah. There's no more jab
He loads
anymore.
up on all the shots, and it doesn't. There's no flow in him, so that's why they're taking a lot out of him. I get that. But he's a good finisher, Joshua.
He's a great finisher, but he doesn't. There's no more jab after that. Then it's like and then it's like you guys are talking about the uppercut. The uppercut's great. I mean, we all saw the uppercut in the Klitschko fight. It's great. Shot. But the thing is, you can't be throwing lead uppercuts like he's fucking. Then you turn into Tank Davis. You're just throwing lead uppercuts uppercut, counter uppercut,
Prince
counter
Nassim
uppercut.
Hamed,
You
isn't
know. Yeah, but not doing it well. You see, so and if you're cognizant of punching yourself out, I swear to God, I think he could be. I really do think he could be. You can't change a guy's style altogether. You got to let them be who they are. You know, you got to kind of tweak it. But if you made a tweak, he could really just be like adapt like a Golovkin. He stays behind his jab like in the Lemieux fight, right?
Yeah.
Just stay behind your jab. You'll get a guy hurt. Golovkin never changes his pace. He never changes his. He never freaks out and goes crazy. He never runs away. He destroys a guy calmly.
Yeah.
Behind his
I agree
jab,
with that, Pete. I think that's Joshua's best way of fighting. When he tucks him behind the guard and sort of like strolls forward and lets his hands go. You know, sometimes the best form of defense is offense, if you get what I'm saying. Especially when Joshua's not built to be on his toes, looking pretty on the back foot. It's just not. You know, you have to fight to your strengths because he's only going to lose. He's going to lose energy by running on the back foot. You know, so it's not for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's lucky in the Ruiz 2 fight. He's lucky that Ruiz didn't bring a pace to him, so he could fight at his own pace. And you know, but if Ruiz was working hard and bringing a pace to him, it could have been even worse for him because he's just not built for that sort of style.
Hey, hold on, guys.
Ruiz came in there with a 12 slice pizza in his belly.
Like, guys, let's take a phone call. 978. You're on the air. 978.
Yeah, that fucking Pulov sucks.
The hell, man?
That's
Send you a link.
Who the fuck is this?
It's Jimmy.
That's Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, I'm gonna send you a link.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, let me send you a link, Jimmy.
Well, I was trying to link. Unless I was using the wrong one.
No, it was the
I
wrong
was gonna
one.
call. Yeah, no, fucking. All right. Was it? Okay. All right. I'll jump in the link. Peace.
All right.
Jimmy sounds better on that.
I want to see that strip club 20 years ago. Hey, Pazienza, what's wrong with you, kid? You see my Harley? You see my Harley? Not so close to my Harley. Move your fucking car. You fucking hit my Harley.
Move your car.
You heard him? Pazienza parked close to Jimmy's Harley.
Yeah. The story he was telling. I don't think he liked
I know
him.
I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. What do you want from me?
Hilarious. He goes, what did he do to you, Jimmy? You know what he did? He parked his car too close to my Harley. You're just picking on him.
That's a sign of disrespect when somebody does that. That's true.
That's right.
Like, fucking move your car, bro.
Recognize the biker.
Fucking asshole.
Hey, quickly. Hey, did any of you guys catch just quickly? 2 minutes off Joshua. You guys catch the code?
Yo, what was that about?
Terrible.
That fucking knockout, whatever. That guy was shaking and shit. What was that all about?
Shit looks weird.
It
looked weird.
He's like doing the fucking stinky leg. Like, it was kind of weird, man.
Well, Johnny Nelson thinks that a Coley will unify that division. What do
Johnny
you guys
Nelson thinks that, a lot of things these days.
Yeah, I think
Cal Brook would beat Golovkin. Bellew's technically more sound than Usyk.
Oh, yeah. No, this guy saddles his point. Forget about Johnny Nelson and his tight T-shirts. All right, we have Jimmy.
What's going on, guys? What's happening?
Jimmy.
Yeah, Stu, you're giving the guys in the fucking you're giving the guys bubble gut again today, huh? Hurting some fucking feelings out there. And no, one thing I noticed, like last night, you can tell where Joshua took up boxing late in life compared to like Fury, who's been doing it since he was a little tyke. Remember when he had his man hurt, when he had Wilder hurt, he actually went in and he threw feints at him. He threw a couple of feints and stepped back, and he did that to judge how hurt Wilder was. Some people will feint hurt to catch you, wobbled a little, but they're really more in with it than they are, and they can catch you with a shot because you're overzealous and you come charging in. So fucking Fury. And when I ever saw Fury do that night, I was like, damn, this motherfucker is schooled. He knows what he's doing. And because you can always tell by somebody's, the way they bite the feint, if they're hurt, their reaction's slow. And you could tell that, okay, yeah, this boy's fucking rocked. And I don't like that.
Hey, Jimmy.
He goes right at him.
That was the shot he threw that stopped Wilder when the towel came in, when he fainted, when
exactly.
He came out, back in again. That's what
he fainted him, saw how hurt he was, and charged in. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's why Breland stopped it, because Fury was starting to get the distance right and was starting to time his shots, and I think it could have got even worse for a while. So that punch there was probably the last straw. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah, you got a massive point there, bro.
And Joshua still gets a little amped up, like, oh, I got him hurt. Fucking jump in. Like, you know what I mean? That usually comes with a bunch of fights and just being around it. But also, sometimes some dudes just get wicked amped up when they get somebody hurt and they just lose all their fucking. Because if he would have just stepped back in the fourth round, took a deep breath, and just aimed a few shots, he would have taken that fucking slug's head off. That dude was a fucking. Oh my God, he had no business being in there, dude. Oh my God, the fucking. Put it this way, Klitschko, when he fought him, there's another big man, right? Another big man with heavy hands. He showed us what Pulev was all about. Remember when he just beat him from bell to bell for 5 rounds, knocked him down like 6 times? It was just a fucking beating. That's what I expected kind of from Joshua. I guess you wanted to. I like what I from Joshua. I was in the shit on. You can just tell who's more Fury or Joshua more than fight.
Yeah, and you could that same thing. You could see
Joshua is nicer on the eye when he's throwing punches than Fury. I think I like to watch Joshua when he's letting his hands go. Fury can be a bit messy at times. But even the Wilder fight, he got messy and sloppy at times. But I just think all round schooled fighters. I think you're right. I think Fury just has a little bit too much of him. Fury knows how to deal with punches, man. Look, he dealt with Wilder quite comfortably, even in bad shape. And the first one, he got caught putting his hands down and being cocky. Do you know what I mean? He got caught with a big shot. But look, he was dealing with Wilder's right hand all night. And he's a school guy, but Josh was dangerous, man. Fucking very dangerous.
And you can see that, Jimmy, what you said about that panic mode that people get in, that kind of goes across the board with all athletes in all sports. Like when that moment comes and it's crunch time, are you going to get too amped up, or are you going to just slow things down and say, all right, you could be fucking shooting a basketball. It could be putting a golf ball, man. It's just that.
Same thing in hockey. The reason why slow it down. I wasn't a prolific goal scorer because some dudes, they get the puck in front of the net and everything slows down for them. Whew, and they just fucking cool as can be. I get, oh boy, here's my chance. You know what I mean? I fire it away. You just, so it's true. Some guys can just, at that moment, everything looks slow to them.
It's probably like, you ever be driving down the highway and the guy in front of you slams his brakes and you have to react in a 1/10 of a second, and you judge the distance, you move the wheel, you hit the brakes, you do all this shit in 1/10 of a second to avoid hitting the guy in front of you. You know what I mean? And that's the mode the best guys get in when they're in that ring.
What do you know about racing? What do you know about racing?
Hey, man, my dad used to race cars.
Yeah, well, you did. You drive a 1.1 liter fucking soils.
Hey, bro, I'm talking about getting in car accidents, man. I'm not talking about racing.
Right.
I'm talking about
Final destination.
I thought you were talking about racing because I don't know where we got to this convo. But yeah.
Did Pulev even put gloves on him last night? Did he even really touch him with anything serious?
He landed a right hand. Barely. He was overextended.
Yeah, one punch in 9 rounds of boxing.
Yeah,
that's
fucking Pulev was extra bad yesterday.
Hey, did you expect any different though? Because I didn't.
Not really. But I didn't think
he's never impressed me, Pulev. Never. I've never ever watched Pulev and thought, yes, he's a well beater. He's got 2 punches in his arsenal.
Big, mean Bulgarian.
Well, he knocked him out. He didn't lose any rounds. I mean, how many fights I know we're talking about Wilder now, but Wilder, he was getting outboxed and then he knocked out the guy and everybody just focused on the stoppage and it didn't, focus on the fact that he was losing the fight. AJ didn't lose any fucking rounds. He stopped the guy. Okay. He didn't look that impressive. Pulev sucked, but,
But what isn't even the most ardent Wilder supporter? Wouldn't they have to seriously, if they have any working relationship with honesty, you have to admit, obviously, Joshua's a better boxer. And all around better balance.
Yeah, they have to.
I would think they know that they're just waiting. Wilder can lose every round, can look like a fish out of water, and then he just he lands that right hand.
Look,
I
at this
don't- I
point,
think
you gotta
Levi
grab
I
the
Garza
don't
fight
think
there.
Wilder has a
has
chin
great
like
skills.
Wilder doesn't have a chin like Kubrat Pulev. I can assure you that now. And I
Hmm.
think if he gets hit with those combinations that Joshua was landing last night, mate, it's over for him. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Listen, Wilder could take a beating.
See where
Wilder
I am
could
with
take a beating,
Joshua.
Stu.
I think Joshua performed a lot better than I thought he would. So that's why I'm not too critical of him.
Wilder
Because
could take
I
a
thought
beating.
I thought it was going to be a cagey affair. Do you know what I mean? So
Wilder could take. I'm going to say Wilder could take a beating. He could take a beating. The problem with him is he doesn't. If he's not knocking you out, he can't make an adjustment. He can't.
Yeah, he's not a good inside fighter either.
Yeah, the thing is, has he ever fought he's never fought a good inside fighter with explosive punches before. Wait till he does. It's over for him. You got to remember, Fury. He's decent in the pocket in mid. He's not the greatest, is he? Let's be real. He's not. He's still enough for Wilder that night. But Joshua's really explosive there. And if he starts teeing up on Wilder, man, God, be a bad night for Wilder.
He's got to spark Joshua out to beat him. If not,
He's gonna have to land that right hand on Joshua quickly.
All right.
He's going to feel that over early, that fight.
Pulev looked horrible because he had a lot to deal with against Joshua. Those first 2 rounds where you're assessing your fighter, you're feeling each other out, they were kind of like a stalemate until Joshua landed those punches in the 3rd round and hurt Pulev. After that, Pulev realized that this guy's too big, he's too much to handle, he's got that extra gear where he's too explosive, and I just can't compete against that. Even the great Lomachenko struggled against the bigger guy. You know, and didn't throw any punches for many rounds. But I mean, the difference here is that Pulev never battled back.
Pulev didn't win 1 second of that fight. Not 1 second of that fight did he win. And this is my problem with Pulev. We have to move on from these fights now. I mean that was pay per view, £25 in the UK. I know you Americans are probably thinking that's stop being cheap, but £25 to watch Pulev, a guy that landed 1 shot in 9 rounds. To Lawrence Okoli, he's probably one of the most boring fighters in the UK. Oh, it was a nice knockout last night, but go and watch his other fights. Stinks the joint out time after time. He's on it was just not a £25 card for me, not with Pulev there. They have to be better fighters. If he's not fighting...
Stu, what did you think of Berlanga?
Who?
Oh, Berlanga.
The kid who won it.
Puerto Rican kid.
Berlanga, I'm sorry, Berlanga, yes. Thanks.
I didn't watch that fight. I came in a bit later. I didn't watch that fight.
Recognize.
Because the kid he did put away is a fucking legit. I mean, he stayed in full camps with Kovalev, Andre Ward. He's never been stopped. So this was a true test of his strength. And he put that kid away in the 1st round. That's 16 first-round knockouts. It's now boxing record. Right. So his power was legit, but his hands are not going to last because it was in the 2nd round. He turned and whipped his hand like it was a fucking baseball right off the top of the dude's head. I could not believe he fucking didn't break his hand.
Like a Wilder slap sort of thing.
Yes, but it was like, dude, he come right. That dude bent his head down. If he fight somebody who knows what they're doing and puts their head down, kid's going to shoot.
I don't like that.
He tries to put everything behind it.
I don't like that he throws those heads to the top of the head, throws those punches to the top of the head a lot. He could be hurt.
Yeah, dude, his career ain't gonna last, Gonzalo. You're right. Now he's gonna fuck his hands up.
They're borderline illegal, man. If he catches somebody when he's teeing up on them, when he's got one of them guys hurt and just goes to town, landing on he can hurt him like maybe like that one guy, Preacher Cologne. You know, where he can really...
Speaking of illegal punches, what about Pulev? That was the only punches that were landed with the back of fucking Joshua's head all night. Right. He kept fucking rabbit punching him.
I've got a question for the panel, right? I've got a question for all you.
Yeah.
Joshua Usyk, right? Obviously, Usyk's a mandatory for Joshua. How do you see that one going now after Joshua's performance last night? We'll start with Recognize. I'll start with Recognize the Matrix.
He's taking a shit.
He's thinking about it.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Well, I was going to say real quick, I wanted to say the reason why I personally don't think Usyk will make too many waves, say if they really want to make that Fury Joshua fight, the reason being, Igis Klimas, who's his manager, is also Lomachenko's manager and has a very good working relationship with Top Rank. So, if you know what I mean, like for him to like really push the issue, I'm sure he'll take step aside money. But for him to really push the issue, it's like, do you really want to work? Because it's going to be, he's basically stepping on Eddie and stepping on Bob. You know what I mean? I would just see it be smart of him, especially just fresh into the heavyweight division, to take some, $100,000 or whatever and step aside. That's what I think he'll do. But do I think if they fought? Geez, I don't know, man. I'd still have to see. I have to still see Usyk one more time.
Usyk has already stated that. This is like a few weeks ago. From a few weeks ago, Usyk said, "I will fight for the WBO belt, no matter what." But do you think that he can be persuaded not to take that fight?
I for that reason with Klimas, I mean, right? I mean, he has a very good relationship with Bob. His other biggest fighter, Lomachenko, is Bob's guy. You know what I mean? So, do you really want to start fucking? You know what I mean? That type of thing. So that should work. And I think if they want to make the fight, he'll take the $100,000 or so and just watch it from the bleachers.
Hey guys, Chris K in the chat. Thank you for your contribution. He says Pulev is Bulgarian for uppercut eater. Oh man.
Yeah,
he took so many uppercuts in a row. God damn.
Yeah.
Let's be real. His name should be spelt with double O instead of a U. But yeah, that's where we are.
Well, dude tweeted out, what does Doritos and left hands have in common? Fucking Pulev can't eat just one.
Yeah. Oh, well, he was pretty. But going back, I know Stu's asked a question, but I forget.
I think the best fucking right hand Pulev's thrown for about 5 years is when he was groping that bird on the fucking interview.
Sushi lady there.
By the way, man.
No, but that referee was terrible. Stu, is that a Stu? Who was that? That referee?
Huh?
That referee AJ against Pulev.
I don't even know.
He was terrible. Terrible.
What about him?
He sucks. Is he like a British referee that you see often over there? Because he was so bad. There was so many rabbit punches, mostly from Pulev.
Yeah.
He never took a punch. Sorry, a point. Terrible.
Hey, man.
He didn't even give him instructions.
Both guys started acting a little bizarre,
He didn't even give instructions in the beginning of the fight. He didn't even tell him these low punches here. This is good. He didn't even lay down any instructions. It was like he was a complete fucking spectator.
Do you know what's even more cringe? Watching in Joshua's corner, they're all sitting like they're about to weld some fucking stainless steel pipe, man. What with these masks on and fucking all sorts of shields on. I'm like, what the? I mean, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? I know this COVID thing. I mean, they're sitting there with fucking masks on,
welding masks.
They don't want to get sued. They know it's a joke.
Yeah.
They just don't want to get sued.
No, but McCracken's trying to get his message across with a fucking mask on and a shield over his face.
That's true.
Like, take that fucking shit off your face. I can't hear you.
Apparently, Joshua don't give a fuck because he be hugging up on everybody, including Floyd Mayweather.
Well, he was going. Yeah, he was with Floyd.
Hey, with all this.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah, with all this COVID shit going on, hey, what if somebody gets busted open like that Badu Jack fight, and you get Tony Weeks who's fucking drenched in blood? Like,
yeah, it's COVID. Hey, it's not age, it's COVID.
By the way,
you gotta be able to get COVID.
You guys missed the Stu joke, man. When he said Pulev, his name should be 2 O's instead of PU.
I got it. I was
trying to get that.
Should have got more, man. That joke should have got more. But you know what, man?
Should have got better.
I was on mute, but I was howling.
Yeah.
You know what they should?
I was muted, but that was loud.
You know what Pulev should have done to win this fight? He should have made an alliance with Jenny Sushi, had her come down on the ring with him, like his manager, his valet, or whatever. And in whatever round he needed to, get her on the apron, distract the referee, and Pulev could hit a couple.
Is that the whore who sued him?
Yeah, that's the whore. Hey, guys. What if Sushi?
The name should be Jenny Suhi. Because that ain't no she, man. I'm looking at pictures.
No,
here,
hey guys, what if that? Remember that kissing incident? What if it would have happened during the COVID pandemic? So wouldn't she have been wearing like wouldn't she have been wearing like one of those welder type of masks, the plastic ones that cover your whole face? Would Pulev have just?
Well, it wasn't the kissing. I guess when he grabbed her dick. I think that's what pissed her off.
That was a big picture.
But he just peels the mask up and kisses her.
Yeah, I think that's what Pulev would have just torn that mask out.
How do you expect him to land a right hand if he can't even tell the difference between a man and a woman? So, I mean, come on, man.
We can't see shit. Anyway, let's move on from this Pulev fight. double O.
Yeah, let's move on.
So what do you guys want to talk about? The future? The Fury AJ
So Court
fight?
Stevenson, I took a real good
Let's
nap.
talk, hey,
no.
Let's
fuck
talk
that.
about let's talk about Pulev's future. Has to retire. Right, next.
No, but hold on. If AJ fights Fury, is this a 50-50 fight in your opinion, guys?
Yeah, of course it is. Well, 50-50. I don't know if it's 50-50. Probably 55-45 in favour of Fury for me.
Okay, that's like 50. And anybody has like a wider margin for either fighter?
I go up to 60-30.
It could be 55-45. Joshua.
60-40. 60-30. 60-30.
There's a 10% draw in there.
Yeah.
It's a 10%.
Oh, okay, the 10% draw.
I think it's about us. I would give Fury, like you guys, I gave him the advantage based on the stamina. But look, this fight has to happen. People say, well, Usyk's the mandatory, blah, blah, blah. Come on, after one
give a shit.
fight, no. It's got to be Fury Joshua. It's the time of the gathering. It is at hand. These two guys need to fight. There can be only one. And I think I'd like to see Joshua try to open up a little bit more against Fury and try to take him out of there. Otherwise, it's going to be a hugfest. Guys, do you think it's going to be an interesting fight? Like a fun fight? How many of you guys are expecting it to be a fun, interesting fight?
I just think the occasion will make it fun.
Yes.
Sometimes when there's not even a lot of action in the fight, you're still on the edge of your seat. It gets you where you're waiting for it to explode, and it'll be one
De La
of them
Hoya
fights.
Trinidad is what comes to mind. De La Hoya.
Yeah, but that fight was terrible.
I think it could be a cagey. It could be a cagey affair for the first 4 or 5 rounds. I think.
Okay, but that's a cop-out right there. When you said, well, the event is going to make the fight. That's like when you go out with an ugly girl and you go, yeah, but she's got a good personality. Fuck that. We don't care, man. We want to see a good fight. I don't care if the event is going to make it fun and the hype and all that.
I'm just saying the event will have you on the edge of your seat, even if there's not a lot happening.
So, okay.
But guys, I think like no matter what, because these are heavyweights and we know both can punch, I think it's always going to be a little bit there's going to be excitement from time to time, just because you're gonna be on the edge of your seat. What if he lands?
That's what I meant. Butch.
Unless they're
It'll be
hugging
like
the
a
whole
one and
time.
done. I think one of the fights you watch once and then there's no really rewatch value.
Yeah.
Like Tyson
Fury. Delete it from your fucking. Well, I think personally, Fury has to fight him the way he fought Wilder. He can't respect. He's just got to go right at him. Because Joshua's not going to do he doesn't do as well going backwards. But I think Fury's going to have more confidence in his power now. I think he's going to come in big again, and I think he's just going to fucking go at him. Because remember, out of the two, the one who was stopped was Joshua. So if he plays that angle,
look, I'd go the opposite way. I wouldn't fight like he did against Wilder, because the difference is Wilder's got no inside game. So once you get inside Wilder's range, nothing's coming back. So you can get your work off and look good doing it. The thing is, once you step into that range, that sort of range is Joshua's. It's where he likes to do his work and he's most dangerous. So I
agree, but I would think the aggression though.
You don't want to be flying into a big shot. I'd fight Joshua using the range and the jab and then with the right hand picking it at the right times and holding in when he gets close, sort of thing. I wouldn't try and make it a war with Joshua like he did with Wilder. I just wouldn't.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a StreamYard call. Mo Boxing, are you there? Mo going once.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I had
money, more
thing on
problems.
mute. I was like, how are you guys?
Splendid.
Splendid.
I know who you are, All Boxing. I know who you are.
Yeah, what's
talk.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the whole thing, but let me just continue from where you are now. I also agree that if you fight AJ coming forward and trying to press the action against him, you'll concede all of Tyson Fury's main attributes, which is footwork, his hand speed. He'll be inside in range, and I don't care what anyone says. Wilder's never proven that he's got a chin, yeah? Just because he fought 110 taxi drivers, I don't think it proves anything. Arthur Smilker wouldn't beat Pulev, and Pulev was washed up. We all could agree on that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a bum fight.
Well, Carla,
if
what I
anyone
meant by
says
using the same, I meant aggression. But you don't have to fight the same style. But he can't just sit back all night and,
No,
hope he
we're
doesn't
not
get
saying that.
caught
He's
by
got to
one
let
of
his hands
Josh's
go. Yeah,
shots.
he's not going to beat Joshua
I
trying to push
I
out the
actually
jab and
think
kicking.
if
Exactly.
Tyson Fury
Yeah.
fights the way he did
Like
against
the way he
Vladimir
fought
Klitschko,
Hold
Yeah,
on,
exactly.
Mo.
That's
Let
what I
Mo
mean.
let Mo
Circle.
speak because he has to leave after because we gotta move on. But go, Mo. Go ahead.
sorry, yeah, I was saying if Tyson Fury fought the way he fought against Klitschko, frustrate him, move around and touch him up with the jab, I think Fury could evidently win. But at the same time, I think Vladimir Klitschko is not as good as AJ at pressure fighting. I think Vladimir Klitschko is a good, guy at cutting off the ring ish, because that's the Kronk style, to keep your opponent always within some sort of range where you can stay safe and so on. But for somebody to put it on you like AJ, the wrong style is to come and see him in the middle of the ring. You give up all your attributes. But Tyson Fury is a good fighter on the inside as well. I also just want to talk about
Ruiz beat
politics
him?
more. I also just want to talk about politics more than boxing.
Well, just
when it comes
just
to
answer
this
me that
issue.
question, Carla. How did
Yeah,
Ruiz
go
beat
ahead.
him?
Yeah, but that was hand speed. Like Joshua just couldn't get to
But it
grips
was
with
coming
it.
forward and putting it on him. The
No, but
To
exact
be
no, but,
same
honest
thing
with
you
you,
just said.
yeah,
to
but
be
Ruiz
honest
was
with you,
doing his
Ruiz
work in the
couldn't have
pocket
done it
and
from
with
the
hand
outside
speed.
anyway, and that's a shitstorm of a lot of things that happened at the same time to cause the perfect storm for Ruiz. You'll never see Ruiz that good again because he was hungry for that fight. He wanted that opportunity, and when he got dropped, he had nothing to lose. He rolled the dice and it paid off for him. 9 out of 10 times that night, Ruiz wouldn't have won that fight. And if it wasn't for the late replacement, AJ bulking up for a slower man with slower hand speed, at least slower man than Ruiz, and getting ready to get physical and push a guy backwards, I'm sure Ruiz, if AJ had hindsight now, hindsight's 2020, so I can't really use that excuse. But if AJ had trained for Ruiz, not Miller, then maybe it might not have been the same fight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna
I
go
just
back
think
to this. I don't think AJ was
stylistically,
that good now. Then
everyone's got that stylistic nightmare, and I think Ruiz was a Joshua's. What Joshua does well, Ruiz just did just better in that distance. He just the hand speed and the
exactly. I agree. I agree.
He couldn't get a grips with it. So, but Fury's not bringing that sort of hand speed in the pocket in the mid range. He's not
Ruiz
bringing that
doesn't
sort of
have any
style.
power from
The
distance.
thing is, as well, Ruiz, he was a lot smaller than Joshua, so he was coming underneath Joshua's punches and letting his hands go in combinations, and Joshua couldn't come to terms with it. But Fury's not going to fight like that. So Fury tries to get into that distance where he's close to Joshua, and Joshua starts landing them uppercuts and them hooks. He's in big trouble. So for me, I would fight at range. And then just lunge in with the right hand at the right times where you can't be countered. Do you know what I mean? So that would be my game plan. Yeah.
Anything else?
But letting your hands go more often, though,
just
right?
one more thing. Before there's any of this nonsense that Tyson Fury is the lineal king and he's the best guy ever, blah blah blah. Going back to 2016, right? He ducked an undefeated at the time and highly rated David Price for the British weight title. So if anyone's ducking anyone, Tyson Fury's track record shows it. He walks away from fights. He walks away from belts. He doesn't care.
Yeah, but
he's the real ducker
out
of them two.
Price out.
I don't want to hear this guy say, "Oh, Tyson Fury is the people's champion," because when the people needed a champion after he beat Vladimir Klitschko, the whole country was behind him. Yeah, what did he go and do? He didn't rematch Klitschko and show that he's the better man. He didn't. He went on a binge and he went on a other personal problems as well. I don't give a shit. Basically, I don't rate AJ especially high. It's just that I rate the guys who want to fight. For example, Terence Crawford, with the bullshit that's going on with PBC Island over there, and all the people justifying that. And the same for Wilder. The same for a lot of fighters in a lot of weight classes.
Fury, to be fair to Fury, he went to America, fought Wilder,
Thank
who
you,
was the most
exactly.
dangerous guy around at the
Twice.
time. He went to Klitschko's backyard. Joshua's fighting. Look, I like
Exactly.
Joshua. He's fighting in the comforts of the UK, where Eddie Hearn's got him covered at all
Only.
angles. He went to America once, and it was a
You got a
shambles.
good point.
Come on, it really
You got a
was.
good
So,
point.
look,
I still
this
agree
is where
with
we
what
are.
you're saying. In a different
You can't
context.
keep going back to David Price days. Tyson Fury would have knocked David Price clean out.
All right, Mo, go ahead.
Why
Mo, I
didn't
want
he
to hear
take
Mo.
him then?
Stu, he
Why
went
didn't
to
he take
America
him?
twice to
Because the
fight
hype was
Wilder.
around. The
That
hype was
can't be.
around David Price. David Price knocked out Matt Skelton with that crazy uppercut the fight before, and he was looking good. And Tyson Fury, I'm not gonna say he bottled it, but he wasn't
but
ready.
you
He's
said
always
the word you used, hype. That's exactly all it was. David Price. Come on, man. I'm not even going to get into this conversation. David Price would never beat Tyson Fury in a million years.
All right, who has a better record, AJ or Fury? Who has a better record, AJ or Fury? That would settle it.
AJ has a better resume.
All
But
right,
for me,
it depends.
Fury's done the more. Fury's took the more risks. AJ's got the better resume. Fury's took the bigger risks. That's where I am.
Okay.
I just want to say, even though Tyson Fury has the better names, Wilder and Klitschko, he beat Klitschko when Klitschko had the 9.5-year reign, and he beat Wilder for the first time. Yeah, he's got those names. I'll give him credit for that. But how many title defenses has
that's the problem.
Tyson Fury got?
Hmm.
He's done nothing, man. He just wants to come in like a cameo role and get all the fame and not do the
like
work.
the Lucian
Yeah?
Bute, innit? Like the Lucian Bute of the heavyweight division.
I can agree with the caller, man, because people like to say, like, oh, pound for pound, and they only attribute pound for pound status to a guy that jumps divisions. But the guy who stays in one division and notches like 15, 16 title defenses, they usually don't get that much credit until after they retire. But I'm gonna tell you something, whether you're like Errol Spence, for example, people say, oh, he should move up. Why? Because he beat Spence and Garcia? That, to me, that's not enough. Like, there's always somebody new coming up in the division, and to any professional boxer will tell you, it's easier to win the title than to keep it, because when you're fighting guys that are you think are lesser than you have to motivate yourself or stay motivated to keep training, because these guys are bringing it 120% because it's their title shot, whereas you're bringing it 120% because it's their title shot, whereas you're defending it against a guy that might not be that well known, blah blah blah, and that's where the danger comes in. So I respect a guy that notches 10 plus title defenses than a guy that wins a title, takes it, throws it in the trash, and then comes back 2 years later and beats it again. I mean, it's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's a little overrated.
It is. Like I said, there's a lot. The thing with Tyson Fury, there's a lot of warm-up fights in there. There's always a big win and a warm-up fight, or then he goes missing, then he comes back and needs 2 warm-ups again, then he'll have a big fight, then another warm-up. I mean, come on, man. It's age of his career now where he has to just keep fighting big guys. Look,
in the BDA's point too,
I think he's in the best place that he's been in a long time, physically and mentally. I think the Kronk gym suits his style perfectly. He looks in good shape. Mentally, he seems to be there. I think he's just in the best place, and he's got to make the best of this time. Because, like I said, form's not forever in boxing. It's just
90
not
seconds.
You could be fighting amazing for 3 or 4 fights, and then you go to the 5th one, and it's all gone. Boxing can go overnight.
Before I go off the line, because I'm sure you want to give opportunities to other people, Tyson Fury's biggest achievement in boxing is not who he's beaten, it's what he's come back from. Because I don't know any heavyweight who's gotten that far out of shape and gone through all the mental and physical problems health-wise that he's gone through and come back and been an elite heavyweight or an elite boxer, period. So that's his biggest achievement. I'll give him credit for that. But I don't give Tyson Fury more credit.
It's what we know, though, right?
And he's not.
I think there's a lot of
he's
fighters.
not Muhammad Ali.
All right.
He's not Muhammad Ali, and he's not Lennox Lewis.
No.
He's not no lineal champion, as far as I'm concerned, because you can't be a part-time lineal champion.
Yeah, but he's 29. He's 29 years old, right? He's got another 8 years in the game if he keeps in shape, at least. Let's let him finish his career, and then we'll judge him then. That's the best thing to do.
Caller isn't a big. I don't think the caller's a big Tyson Fury fan.
Well, we know that.
Mo, do you like Tyson Fury? Do you hate Tyson? Why do you hate Tyson Fury?
No, I don't hate Tyson Fury. I hate the bullshit in boxing, but
to be honest with you, before the Vladimir Klitschko fight, I was always a Tyson Fury fan. He didn't give me anything to hate. I was actually, at that time, I hated David Haye because David Haye was doing what Tyson Fury and Wilder are doing now, which is hyping up some nobodies to be like great fighters and then selling the crowd a dream and then not really giving the fight fans what they really want, which is unification,
Yeah.
undisputed, top contenders, young
David
fighters,
Haye,
young.
you got to remember, David Haye had a big part in Tyson Fury's resume not being as good as it is. David Haye pulled out twice against Tyson Fury. I mean, I remember we were speaking to Peter. I remember we were speaking to Peter Fury on Skype many years ago, and we was having a conversation, and he was telling us that fucking Tyson Fury, 150 grand in training costs David Haye cost him by just pulling out fights. And like I said, that if he'd have beat David Haye, that'd have been a massive win. That would have
exactly.
He would
Look
have
at the
exploded
credit
on the
Tony
scene.
Bellew
He'd
got for
have
beating
exploded on the scene, and it'd been a lot bigger name. He just didn't have that big
a
win.
lot bigger.
And then when he did fight Klitschko, it was one of those performances that, oh man, it was just. It was a good boxing performance, but it weren't exciting. Let's just say that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fair comment. I agree. But for anyone who thinks I'm a Tyson Fury hater, I'm sorry, I disagree. But I do hate Tyson Fury and Wilder and a lot of these heavyweights, including Dillian White, for not taking their opportunity when they got it, and for saying AJ is an easy soft touch. He's this, he's that, he's the other. If he's so easy, all these guys are saying he's a coward. Go in there, knock him spark out, take all his belts, take all his glory, and then shut me up, because that's what I want to see. I want to see him fight.
Carlo,
I don't
who's
want to
calling
hear
him
them
who's
talking.
calling him a coward? Are other fighters calling him a coward over in UK?
Wilder called AJ a coward.
Yeah, well, he's a
Tyson
fucking brain dead
said
idiot.
he's
I
an
wouldn't
honest
say
man.
anything out of
AJ
nonsense.
nearly
He
shaved
will
him.
rise
Far from a
again.
coward. AJ's far from it.
I'm just want to ask.
No, not at all. Yeah, he's not a coward. No
just
way.
like to ask the caller, just to clarify that. So you do hate Tyson Fury?
He hates everybody.
If it rocks your boat, yeah, you can say whatever you like.
Well, you just said earlier no, and then you said yes, and I'm confused. I just want to clear things up.
I got
I
feelings.
hate
I got feelings. A bigger
Tyson
AJ
Fury,
fight.
the boxer. I hate Tyson Fury, the politician outside of the ring, who's saying he's the people's champion, he's this and he's that, without fighting anyone. Yeah. So
Carlo,
now
you've
he's
been
got that
following the sport a long
WBC belt.
time, right?
Listen, now that Tyson Fury's got this WBC belt, do you see him talking about lineal this and lineal that? No. He goes on about the Ring magazine and the WBC belt, and that's the only belt that's really
but
important.
This is minor stuff. This is all minor stuff that you're coming out with. At the end of the day,
is it really minor though?
Does Tyson Fury have the skills to beat your boy Anthony Joshua? That is the question.
Not my boy. I don't care who wins. I just want to see all these motherfuckers.
Oh, I think you do. I think you do.
I think you're lying, innit?
Yeah, I think.
You're
Listen,
lying a little bit,
just tell the truth. We don't
opinion?
mind here. We accept AJ fanboys.
Hold on.
No
we
AJ
accept anyone.
fanboy.
Just
No
admit you and
AJ
AJ.
fanboy. Okay, no fanboyism right now. I would favor Tyson Fury to beat Anthony Joshua right now. This Anthony Joshua. I can't talk about the future. Okay. He might improve. He might digress, right? But I also think that it would be highly competitive, and I don't think it'll be an easy night's work for either man.
No, you're right. I agree.
I think you're a good caller, dude. You know we're just busting your balls, right?
He's a very good. Look, the caller was a very good caller, but he just wasn't being honest about his.
I think Anthony Joshua beats Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
I think he beats him on points.
Do you think Joshua beats Fury?
Yes.
Okay.
Boy, he's a favorite?
Break it down then, bro. Break it down then.
Oh, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
He beats him on points.
Like a robbery?
Crooked or not crooked?
Either way, it's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a close fight, and I think Joshua lands the more power shots and he wins.
Yeah. Look, that fight's definitely not a one-sided affair. I don't know why people keep saying that.
It's not a one-sided. It's crazy for people to think that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's absolute fucking nonsense.
People are really saying that, dude. Seriously, like people for real.
Oh,
the thing
yeah.
is, what we've got in the UK at the moment, we've got a divide. We've got Joshua fans and we've got Fury fans, and they're starting to go to war at each other. But you know when there's you got your blinkers on, these fanboys they don't respect what they're seeing from the other guy. I mean, if they're true boxing fans, they'll see that Fury's a dangerous guy and can't be, and vice versa. To say that these people, Fury will knock Joshua out in 3 rounds. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm hearing Joshua sparks Fury in a couple. I mean, it's just nonsense.
Yeah,
An island full of brotherhoods.
Yeah, this is what happens. Fanboys have their blinkers on, and they don't. All they see is what their guy's doing. That's why we see a lot of boxing fans when they score a fight. They're seeing something that didn't really happen because they're trying to look for things to score their guy, but they forget what's coming back. I've seen it so many times. When you're focused on one guy, you're picking for things to give him to win the fight. And I think that's what it is with fans. They just don't see. I mean, look, I'm a Tyson Fury fan myself, but I look at Joshua and I see a very dangerous guy in there. And Fury could get knocked out that night. There's no doubt about that. But I think if both guys are on their top of their game, I still think Fury has got enough to win it. But mate, that's no way a one-sided affair.
You know,
I'm curious what Vegas will bounce that off at.
Go ahead, sorry guys.
No, I was just saying I'm curious what Vegas will bounce that off at. If anybody thinks that I'll be a one-sided affair, I mean that is 100% fanboyism. Without a doubt.
It'll be just as close.
Oh, we
Jimmy.
just busting your stones about that earlier, bud.
Jimmy,
You're a
it'll be
good call.
just
I was
as
just
close
fucking with
as-
you.
Hey,
That's
Jimmy,
good, man. I can take a
the
joke.
odds will
Something.
be just as
Okay.
close as Tyson Fury and Wilder rematch. I think it'll be that close. The odds.
Right? Probably, I would think.
Hey,
They
Mo,
should.
we gotta move on. Hey, I just
wouldn't-
want to say to Mo, we gotta move on, but thank you for joining us and call back again next time. All right?
Thank you
Take care.
guys.
Thanks for the call,
Thanks
brother.
a lot. Have a
Peace
good
in it.
evening.
Peace in it.
I'll keep watching.
You too.
Fuck.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Um,
Go
Peace
ahead.
upon you. In
peace out, Mo.
I will rise again.
Go ahead. Somebody. That was Mo.
You sound
Yeah.
like a preacher, right? I will.
I will rise.
I
He
don't
lost
know
his
why, but
fucking
I'm picturing Deontay Wilder dressed up like in a fucking manger, like he's dressed up like Joseph or some shit, with all that gear
We
on,
will regain
talking to
the
the
title.
camera. I am your newborn king on
And
Christmas.
we will rise like a phoenix from the ashes and regain the title.
Did he write that down, or that just came out of his head?
Yeah,
Because
of
that's
course he
scary.
did.
Of course.
That was a broken man, dude, right there. That video was a broken, emotionally unstable man spewing his emotions. That's all it was.
The
His
3
tears.
wise men have brought gifts to me in 3 belts.
Hey, if
He
you're
just rambled. He said a bunch of words but didn't say nothing. You know what I
no,
mean?
he didn't
It was
say
just- it
anything.
was
He didn't say
absurd.
anything.
Part of
What it
Jimmy,
is, right?
Jimmy, if
Nothing
you
like-
are,
he
if
doesn't
you are
believe
like
anything he's saying. He doesn't believe anything he's saying. He's trying to save face because, like I said, he's a narcissist, Deontay Wilder. One thing about
What part
narcissists,
of
like I
I
said,
will rise again? You don't
yeah,
understand.
they can't accept defeat. They can't accept being wrong.
Can't take my
And
pride.
this is the problem.
Any chink in the armor, dude.
Can't take
This
my
is why he
pride.
never learned. Hang on a sec. This is why he never tried to learn things because he thought all he had to do was turn up, land his right hand, job done. That's the arrogance of the man. And now he's lost. Everyone keeps feeding him these excuses, and he's going with
It's not doing him any good, too, right?
it. It's not. It's not.
I
He should
will
have just
rise.
look what he
He's
did.
gotta
Look how
face the
Joshua.
facts that
Look,
he
tell me
got-
look about
he got
Joshua.
mobbed.
Look how Joshua took that defeat. Look how Tyson Fury took his robbery. That's how you deal with stuff like that. Not start blaming suits, start blaming sacking trainers, conspiracies, being spiked. He even blamed Anthony Durrell at one time. I think in the fucking crowd.
Well, it does you, dude. If he had people around him other than yes men and sycophants, because a real trainer, a real person would have pulled him aside. Like if he was my boy, I would have said, dude, what happens now if you fight him again and you lose? By saying all these excuses, you're done, dude. You
Well,
fight
you
him
don't
again and
fight
you
him
lose
again.
after all these excuses,
Jimmy,
dude, you're gonna piss on the fire and
Wow,
call
do
a
you
dog.
guys, do you
This
really
shit's
think?
over.
Okay, you think Wilder wants to fight Fury again?
No. Does he? Hell, man. Why would you
because
wait
if he
to
wanted
the
to fight
dead?
him, he would have said, "Look, you beat me. Let's do this again."
I think Wilder wants you to think he does. I think Wilder wants me to think he does.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Of
does he in
course.
his soul?
Of course.
Deep down in his soul, no.
Yeah.
He's saving face with his fans, Jimmy, because he's their king, isn't he? And in the day, it looks bad if he doesn't take that fight. He doesn't want it. Why did he wait for the deadline to sign it to start mouthing off after the fight? Deadline's over. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
What a
coincidence.
that fight, straight away. You're calling for the rematch. That's what Joshua did. Joshua got that Ruiz fight made in a month. That was just done, mate.
Instead of making retarded videos, he'd come out and make the fight.
Yep.
Exactly. No, he didn't want that fucking fight. Of course he didn't. And it's the whole circumstances is fucking crazy because but look at what he did. He basically went silent. The fight happened. He went silent. He sat back. He had his half-wit brother fucking make up something about an autopsy report.
Oh.
From that autopsy report, right?
That was the greatest.
A bunch of fucking grown-ass men made.
Was it from the Warren Commission?
Oh, dude, unbelievable, right? It made up this, and so from that one autopsy report, all these grown men made all these conspiracy videos, and during all the videos, I love these are facts, these are evidence. And so what he did, then he gets off, he breaks silence after 8 months, and he comes out to point to his facts and evidence of the videos that were made because his half-wit brother leaked out something. It's a circle jerk.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, what is the PBC, the Wilder's managers and promoters, what are they thinking when they see Wilder come out with these weird videos on Instagram? What do you guys think they
Cash out. Let's cash him out.
Let's cash him out.
Exactly. Heyman must be saying, dude, we got to make one more payday off this knucklehead. This kid's losing it.
Somewhere I picture Al Heyman rubbing his hands and saying, just one more cash out pay and we're done with this boy.
It's not a good
The
sign.
funny thing is, though,
It
bro, if
doesn't
he
look
does
good.
fight him and lose again like that, those fucking LDBC knuckleheads will turn on him like a fucking pit bull with rabies.
They'll turn on Al Heyman for sure, yeah.
Hey, by the
Listen, mate.
Yeah.
He's not got another big defeat in him. That can't happen. He's on the. I think he can still bounce back and still do good things. I just think one more bad defeat and there's just no way back for him. And
What'd you say,
As long as Molina or fucking Molina or Staverne's around.
Mentally, I think mentally he's a bit shot. I think he needs a confidence booster. I think he needs to. I think they should bring Dominic Brazil back for him so he can play, so he can spark him out in a couple of rounds and get his confidence
put him in there with Quinaki. Put him in there with
Hey,
Quinaki.
That's dangerous.
Hey, hold on.
I think some of these guys might beat him.
Hold
on.
Hey, it's to what you're saying. He can bounce back. Yeah, he sure can bounce his back. Fucking, he was twerking all over the place last time I saw him.
Oh my God!
Bouncing that back.
Hey, bro, I think some of these cats could beat him now. I think Staverne could get a win in the third fight.
Yeah,
you know, after they seen him listen, after they've seen him get beat up, once his confidence is really down.
Jack shit.
I'm shocked.
Why are you even mentioning Staverne?
I'm fucking.
They just took Staverne's left leg from diabetes.
Mate,
fucking dude's probably 400 pounds right now.
The way Staverne is, next time he falls on his legs, it's snapping in half. Trust me, the way he fell on his leg in that second fight, he does the third, mate. He's snapping the matter way he's got it.
Dude, he got knocked down like 4 times. Bro.
Yeah, I mean,
they called 2 official ones, but he really got dropped like 4 times, bro.
And they ended up doing that fucking pole thing where you go, what do they call that? The Mamba dance, and you go under the pole. That's how he was laying on the rings with his legs back.
The limbo.
He looked like a doofus. Yeah, limbo. He looked like a fucking doofus.
Do you know what I think Dillian White would be a good fight for Wilder to get his confidence back. It make decent numbers in the UK as well. That will, trust me.
He will never do it.
That's a big.
Dillian White will probably spark him.
He would never do
it. Then he's never going to be good enough. If he can't beat Dillian White, he's just not good enough.
Hold on. Stu, or everybody, can this scenario happen? Wilder goes into hiding. He lets AJ, Usyk, and all these people fight, and then all of a sudden he comes back.
Yeah, that could happen.
Rise.
Yeah, can he rise?
Try and pick up the scraps when everyone's finished. But look, I just don't think he's good enough. He hasn't got time on his side either. Well, Tyson Fury's 29. What's he going to do? Wait till Tyson Fury's finished?
Yeah.
Wilder will be about 40-5 himself then, wouldn't he?
He's got to come in the ring in a fucking. He's got to come in the ring next fight in a fucking Phoenix outfit, though. He has to.
He's gonna wait till
Oh.
watch. He's gonna wait. He's gonna wait till Easter
Man, I
Sunday
didn't know
coming
Fury
up.
was 29. He's young. No, Fury's not 29. He's 31.
29, 31.
I think he's 32. I think Stu, he's 32 now.
That's
Well, time's going quick for me. I like, time's been going quick lately. So I'm like, maybe I've got it wrong. But look, he's still a young guy.
Stu
Look,
still thinks he's 35 and shit.
He's
Good,
32.
world-class
He's
heavyweights.
32 years old.
World-class heavyweights can fight. Hang on a sec. World-class heavyweights can fight to their 40 if with boxing skills like Fury. It's
Well,
the
they're big enough,
brawlers that can't last. When you got skills, you can go that long. That's why
Hey,
Klitschko
Stu.
lasted that long.
Do you think that Tyson Fury will keep his mental health that long?
Well, that's the big question. You just never know with this guy. He could be all fine and dandy today, but then tomorrow he's in the fucking nut house. He's lost it, isn't he? So
Well, if he keeps
That's
boxing,
the problem. Manic depressiveness. People with
it's
manic
therapy,
depressive.
though. Boxing's therapy. That's a good thing for him. Especially, he's like a giant. Those guys don't live to be past 60, maybe. Look at Andre the Giant. He used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
They're big bodies for the heart to pump all that blood, and especially if you're drinking.
Exactly.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he that
they
big?
say
Like,
the bigger once you start hitting like what is it? I forgot what. Once you start hitting like 6'5" and over, like there's something about the chance.
Actually, every inch over 6 foot,
Over
dude.
6
Every
feet.
inch over 6 foot, you actually start losing. Yeah, you start losing many years. Like a man 5'7", he lives, I think, on average 23 years longer than a man 6'2".
it's like the Asians,
It's
like
crazy.
the East
All
Asians.
right, that's good news for me.
Yeah, that makes sense because you always
The
look
heart,
at
so the heart.
yeah,
heart-
you look
gotta
at those
pump the
like
blood.
East Asian old kung fu masters and everything, like fucking 150 or something. No,
They're all 5'3", 120
yeah, they're
pounds.
5'3" or something.
4'11.
Yeah.
Well, like Gonzalo keeps saying, it's because they have less body to pump blood through. When you have a big body to pump, I mean, how many offensive linemen, you don't see them facing 75, 80 years old.
Yeah.
That must be hard if you're a big dude knowing like, shit, I'm definitely dying before all you motherfuckers. But it's almost a trade-off. God gives you that big size and strength, but you check out earlier.
Well,
I don't
depends
know.
also how much.
yeah,
Do you think guys think that Wilder's going to stay in the heavyweight division with this new division coming up?
No.
They're changing the
Probably
limit.
not.
Well, he's claimed he is. He actually put out a statement that he was pissed about it. He was angry that there was even suggested that he was.
Yeah,
he
I
said,
agree
"Look,
with
yeah, I'm a
Wilder.
heavyweight." I'm just saying what he's saying. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
did come out almost right away and said, "That's." I know people are trying to put that as my thing, but I'm a heavyweight.
Hey guys,
That's
do you
fair
think
play to
that
Wilder.
Wilder?
That's
Can I just
fair
say
play to
something
Wilder.
about this catcher weight division, whatever it's called? I think that Wilder looks better when he fights bigger, fat heavyweights because
Yeah, he looks
they're
he looks
slow.
fast, doesn't he?
They're
Explosive.
yeah. Now, because if you look at the Spilka fight, like he had a lot of movement and speed, and Wilder looked really bad in that fight. So I don't know.
Did.
Think about it.
But then you're talking punch resistance goes down. Look at fucking
Yeah,
Spill
that
looking
brings-
Yeah,
splatter
that's true.
everywhere.
Do you know the one thing about
Wilder-
that fight that?
Yeah.
I was to say one thing about that Spilka fight that sticks to my mind is because that was when they were still trying to. They were just making comparison of how badly he was being promoted. When that fight against Spilka that Saturday afternoon in New York was Saturday night actually had less viewers than Canadian men's curling world championship.
Oh man, that's
Oh
sad.
Lord.
That'll not, dude. I will never forget that.
Hey,
Yep.
but the thing with Wilder, right? And I think with Wilder, I think he's at his best around 2'6", 2'9". I think the way he came in against Fury in the second fight, too much muscle, too top heavy, and it's none of that muscle went onto his legs. And I just think he just carrying too much top heavyweight. That didn't help him at all. It slowed him down. Look, this myth that if you got more weight and muscle behind, you're gonna hit harder. It's a myth. Wilder's hitting it his hardest when he's around 2'9", when he's using speed. You know what I mean, to land these shots.
Yeah,
and like when you got too much muscle, it slows you down. And yeah, I just don't get why he did that.
He
And his
skipped
legs
leg
were
day.
gone after a
That's
couple,
for sure.
2-3 rounds.
He skipped leg
Wilder's
day.
got legs like a table.
Yeah.
The thing is, like I said, if you're going to put muscle on, then you try and put some on your legs as well, because he was just piling on muscle on the top of himself and leaving them skinny legs to deal with the weight. And they went underneath him very quickly, didn't they? He got hit with a big shot and they never came back, really.
Because training legs are the hardest, dude. It takes the most out of you. That's why so many guys, they look like rattles.
Yeah.
You see them at the beach with their peg legs.
Skip
yeah,
leg
exactly.
day.
Skip leg day, yeah. All chest and arms and no legs.
It's almost counterintuitive, though, because, somebody who's a puncher who's relying on a single punch, you get a lot of your power from your legs pushing off the ground and getting that torque. So, if that's in his strategy to fucking one punch you, why is he not working his legs? He's trying to go, he's trying to throw just arm punches.
Where Fury won the mental warfare was Fury had Wilder worrying about what Fury was doing and what weight he was coming in and how he was going to fight instead of worrying about what he had to do. And Fury, he thought Fury was coming in big, so he thought he had to come in big, but he didn't. He just had to stay as Deontay Wilder. That's why he was knocking people out, because of the speed. Like Butcho said, these big guys too slow to deal with his speed at times when he's landing that right hand. That was his best weapon. But yeah, as soon as he started putting on 15, 20 pounds of muscle, mate, it was.
So it looks like, Wilder's game plan for that second fight with Fury, it was simply, I'll just put on more weight. This is how they probably planned this thing. He's like, we did drop him in the first fight, so all we have to do in this fight is just hit harder.
Land.
So so we're just gonna put on more weight.
It's a myth that you put on more weight and you hit harder.
Yeah,
it's a myth, mate.
Terrible game plan. We'll just put on more weight. Yeah. But then,
do you guys think Wilder should go down to that Bridger weight shit? I think that's, he should, even though he wants to be in the notorious heavyweight.
Hold on. Is there any prestige in that division when you're already fighting as a heavyweight?
No one's going to give a flying shit about who is the champion on that division.
It's like
I refuse to watch it just because of the fact they made it. It's just such a money grab.
Well, just change the cruiserweight limit. That's all you got to do, isn't it?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. It was a joke, dude. It's an absolute insult.
That's
why not just a super heavyweight?
They should open up the cruiserweight division a bit more, like change, because it's a big jump. Like going from light heavy to cruiserweight, it's
big
like
jump.
It's like a big jump. It's like 20 pounds. So like, I'd open that up, go to say from 180. So what would you say, 180 to 200 or something like that. They just open up the division. You don't need to.
How about this? 175 and then you jump to 185?
No, you can. Say 180. Even £5. 180, 185. Some got a lot of these light heavies are cruiserweights that's shrinking down and they're struggling to make weight, and that's why you're not getting the best out of them. Let's be real. I think Beterbiev looks like he's a cruiserweight every day of the week. You know what I mean?
And who wants to hold a fucking belt that you can't even unify if it's only one sanction in body doing it?
Jimmy,
it's just a massive jump. So the fighters would rather shrink down than jump 20 pounds. And then you got to remember, when you're jumping 20 pounds, you're usually fighting heavyweights that shrinking down. So you've given more weight away on fight night. It's just, you know what I mean? It's a big jump.
No, I think
we lost. Oh, he's back.
He's back. But Stu, we can't hear you. You have some.
I'm here now.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just said performance-wise, when you jump in 20 pounds, you lose a lot of performance as well. So maybe they should look at that instead of bringing this pointless division. That's going to mean absolutely nothing. What is the division called again?
Bridgerweight.
The Bridger. Terrible name. Also, terrible name.
Can you imagine walking around with the Bridgerweight title around your on your shoulder?
And it's just one belt, the green belt. That's it.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, do you think
Paul walking around with his belt that he holds?
Do you think? I think that OBC is banking on these other sanctioning bodies to eventually join this Bridgerweight division. I think that's what.
It'll all depend. On who. Yes. Tries to win the belt. If they get a named guy, then other promotions will say, yes, let us get our slice. Because at the end of the day, that's all it is.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out how to make more money. And when nobody's fighting, and these guys have absurd inflated salaries, like Suleiman, I think he pays himself like $250,000 a year salary. So when you have all these, they need to constantly bring in money. And they're just trying to figure out ways to make it. That's all it is.
I would love to see somebody win that inaugural first Bridgerweight title and fucking dump it in the trash right away. Riddick bow that shit.
They should
fucking win it. Post-fight interview, dump it.
Well, this is the thing. This is why I don't like the WBC. This is why I just don't respect the WBC anymore. So much prestige this belt's got, and it's become a circus show, isn't it? I mean, it's run by social justice warriors, fucking soy boys. It really is. I mean,
the green belt was always the most respected.
They're always bringing out a belt, aren't they? They're always bringing out a belt for someone. There's always this little special belt there. I'm waiting for the LGBT belt to come out.
The rainbow belt.
All right, guys, we have some information.
What's his name on with Emil Griffith on there and fucking Orlando Cruz and all them people on there, isn't it?
Guys,
come on, man.
In the chat,
where does this stop?
PSK is explaining to us why it's named Bridger. It was named after the kid who saved his younger sibling from a vicious dog attack, and he was badly scarred for life. Okay, so that's the kid that saved his sister from a dog, and I guess his family name is Bridger, or his name is Bridger.
The
Whatever.
The dog name is Bridger. That's a great story, but what the fuck does that have to do with boxing?
Fucking dog's name is Bridger.
I thought it was called Bridger because they're bridging the something in between Bridger.
You're bridging the light heavy. I mean, bridging cruiserweight to the big guys. Like, it was a bridge. That's what I thought too.
Well, they acknowledge that too. It's a double meaning.
Yeah, unfortunately, no one's going to be on the fucking bridge.
I don't think
so. What was Sullivan trying to fuck the kid's mother or something? Bang that kid who got tapped by a dog's mother or something. This was named after that kid. Was he trying to get a piece? What's going on?
Looking at Sullivan, probably the dog as well. Do you know what I mean? But look,
dude, I wouldn't buy a fucking Corolla off
the fucking Fido.
Yeah, but you know what, too? It takes a lot of prestige out the. It takes a lot of prestige out the heavyweights, man. I can't hear who's ever talking.
Go ahead.
Dude, you see Sullivan smile, you think he's about to sell you fucking undercoverage fucking spray.
Can I say something? Look, it takes a lot of prestige off the heavyweights because, for one, the Bridgers, these guys, the small heavyweights can beat the big guys. Okay, these guys can beat the heavyweights. But let's say a Bridger that can beat a heavyweight goes back down to Bridger, or let me see. It takes prestige off the heavyweights, man. Because the heavyweight wouldn't be seen as the baddest man on the planet. A Bridger guy can beat a heavyweight.
The sport's too watered down. Exactly. There's not enough talent to supply these divisions now.
Yes.
And what about poor Usyk?
How many heavyweights do we have? What are there? 3, 4 top heavyweights in the world? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody's noticed. There's 3 billion people on this 4 billion people. How the fuck is there only 6 or fucking 7 good heavyweights?
We already have fat ass heavyweights that shouldn't even be boxing, but they're in the heavyweight division because there isn't any other heavyweight out there. The pool of heavyweights basically is pretty bad. There's not a lot of heavyweights and they suck. So dividing that into 2 or something like that, it doesn't make sense.
Telling you, man, this is the shit you do when a sport's in its death throes. When you start making rash, stupid decisions on the basis of trying to make money. And the way these guys are all fucking doing it, the way the fucking PBC is still trying to stay away from everybody. And so I forget who tweeted about it, and it was so true. I brought it up, and they went into more detail. One of the reasons of pushing this false narrative, and believe me, the 250,000 buys, bullshit. Fucking Davis, 250,000 sales. Bullshit. Oh, it's all bullshit. But if they now go and sit down across the table from Bob Arum, they have to open up and show this is how many pay-per-views we did really sell. Because during negotiation, they can't hide shit. So if they're doing that, that's another reason I don't think they're going to make this fight. Because I don't think they're going to want to show that the 360 against Garcia was horse shit and the 250 against this Garcia was horse shit.
Yep.
PBC Island.
I don't believe those numbers. And anyways, we can talk about it another time. But yeah, the state of boxing is pretty bad right now, especially because of COVID. That doesn't help. So to create this other division, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It's only alive with guys like you, BDA, because the guys who are willing to put in time to start podcasts and to put in your own time to do shit like this. You know the reason why, seriously, the sport has any fucking life left at all. It's the fans that's holding us together. If we left it up to the fighters, this shit should be tossed in the fucking river. It's done. This kid's
Did you
idiots.
speak about? Sorry, Jimmy, but go along with what you're saying. Going along with what you're saying. Did you guys see the Nakatani versus Verdejo fight? That was a good fight.
Damn good fight. Those Japanese kids can take a fucking beating. They always can. You can never count a Japanese dude out. I don't know if it's the shape of their skull, but my God, can you hit those fucking dudes?
It's the way of the samurai.
Man, he took a beating. He came back, and I'll tell you, it was Fideo did the same thing. Got him hurt, got over anxious, and shot his load when he got the kid after he knocked him down in the first or to get in the fourth. Yeah, he just went too wild. And I think he blew his load. And then when that big kid fucking finally caught him, forget it. Did you see the fight, Bucho?
Yeah. And I just wanted to also talk about Shakur Stevenson because we got to move on here. Shakur Stevenson. Gonzalo wanted to talk about him. But I saw some of his tweets. This guy. Well, let's start with the fight. Go ahead, Gonzalo. What do you think about the fight?
Well, to be honest, I fell asleep. And I'm not just saying that just to sound cool, like I fucking fell asleep because he's so boring, just to shit on the guy. No, look, he's hitting you with everything. He's a good boxer, and yeah, he landed a good 4-punch combination where I was like, wow, like maybe at one point during the like I don't know the 5th round, but after a while you start noticing that he can't knock this guy out, and he's throwing everything at him, and he's landing with everything, but at the same time, he's not causing you to be excited.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I'm kind of confused.
So can this guy become a Floyd Mayweather? He
No,
I don't know. There's these comparisons that I keep hearing on the internet, and he starts.
Floyd could hit when he was little.
Not with Bob Arum, he can't, because there's just so much politics in America. The way a lot of big fights won't be made that he needs to,
It's just not the.
Yeah, but even if he hold on.
Fighters.
I'm on about being a star. Obviously, he's not got the talent of Floyd. We know that. But I'm on about being a star. It's going to be hard for him because Crawford is struggling to be a star because he just doesn't. You need big fights to make you a big star. You don't need that.
Well, Crawford happens to be in the one division that sucks because that's the one division the PBC has on lockdown. Most divisions they don't.
He's fighting a stiff, but he's tattooing him with every punch in his arsenal, and he's not really causing any damage. Now, when you get an exciting fight, when two guys trade blows, and you say, oh, this was a great fight because they were connecting on each other, they were hurting each other, and it's exciting because you always have that air that somebody's getting damaged and is about to get KO'd. But he's against a stiff. Imagine he's against a good guy, and they're both landing in each other. On Shakur Stevenson's side, will his punches cause you to have like oohs and ahs and be excited when he's landing? Because he's not hurting fighters. He's not hurting them. It's like watching women's boxing.
All right. So he's calling out Lomachenko. He's calling out Lomachenko now. That's a big fight.
The problem we've got is a lot of these promoters are biting off the nose to spite their faces with these other promoters. They're so bitter and twisted towards each other. They just don't want to make these fights anymore, and it's becoming a problem. Look at, I mean, even in the UK, we're not getting the big fights in America that we used to watch and get on Sky. Sky are turning these fights down now. Sky didn't even show Kell Brook versus Crawford. That was on some Premier channel that no one's heard of. I mean, this is the problem. Eddie Hearn was behind that. You can bet your life he was. And this is the problem with boxing. They're all out to get each other instead of putting the fights on. Pathetic, man.
All right, so Shakur Stevenson isn't becoming a superstar because he's boring.
Well, he's a talented kid. He does the shoulder roll pretty well. But listen, when he gets in there finally with someone who can pitch back and has some talent, like that kid he had fought last night was a punching bag. Just a tough kid, but somebody could tee on. When he fights I think anybody but Schelt, anybody up around, what is he, 130, right?
Yep. Well, he's
I think Giovanni Davis would take his head off.
Well, he's an African kid. That Toka Khan, he's an African kid, I think. And let's just say he's tough. Remember Manny Pacquiao when he fought Clottey? But Clottey was going into the high guard. He was shelling up, and he was blocking a lot of Pac-Man's punches.
Disgusting.
Okay, let's say Shakur Stevenson's punching power is a little better than what it showed tonight because this guy got thick skin and he fucking He's tough. I don't know, man.
Well,
just his
if he has more punching power, then yeah. If he
Bradley
has more
pissed
punching
off
power,
fucking Andre Ward last night because that's Andre Ward's guy. You know, Andre Ward's his trainer. I mean, his manager. Him and Jim Prince. And when fucking Taylor, the other dude said they should just stop this fucking fight. Oh, Ward was so pissed.
No.
Because you know what I mean? He was like, why should we stop it? Blah, blah, blah. He's still fucking showing
He's
hard.
thinking about the money.
You know, wow, it was bad.
They wanted to stop it so you have to pad his record.
Exactly. And then when you want it and you don't get it, that's just not a good look.
All right.
And he was trying. The kid was there to fucking knock out. I mean, he wasn't doing it.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Well, this Saturday we have Canelo against Callum Smith. We're going to be having a show this week, actually several shows this week, because I think Mr. PDA wants to do like a presentation, like a video clip presentation for the Canelo Smith fight. We also have Golovkin against, I forgot his name,
Seremeta.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Says it all, doesn't it?
Stu's very
It's so
excited about
sad,
that fight.
dude. I'd rather have had him retire. I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
and
there you
people
go,
call me a
man.
Triple G hater if they want. I would have rather seen him retire than just continue this type of shit.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I'm just listen. Nobody's gonna call me a hater because I spent a lot of money on that kid.
Bro. He hasn't got time on his side. He can't be wasting caps on these guys. He's got to be fighting big.
I mean, what do they want? To see him just get knocked out, get starched?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, just retire with your facilities. You're an educated kid. You can go into business. You get a fucking beautiful wife, a young family, dude. Don't go fucking having to help you off the couch at 44 years old because you're almost going to fall down because your equilibrium's all fucked up. You fucking, dude, I've seen fighters, man.
He's still getting paid, Jim. He's still getting paid. He's still getting paid, and he believes that he can still get one last big fight.
But how much more? How many more millions does he have to get?
Yeah, but I ain't got a problem with him fighting still, right? My problem is who he's fighting. And this guy's got, I do not want to see Golovkin fight. What's his name again? I can't remember. That's what I'm saying. I can't even remember his fucking name.
Karim Seremeta, I think. Camille or Karim.
Yeah. The same way I don't want to see him beat up slugs. I don't want to see him get fed to some young fucking big tough dude. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why at this point? You made your money. You got more money than he needs right now. Just go and live your life, dude.
Yeah.
I don't mind him fighting. If he wants to carry on fighting, like you can't tell anyone how to live their life. And like I'm saying, sometimes when you take boxing away from a fighter, their life goes off the rails. They just lose that spark in life, because they live for this sport. So if he's happy doing it, fair play. But if he's going to do it at his age, and let's be real, he's slowing down massively. He needs to be taking big fights now while he's still capable of winning them.
That's right.
This is a mandatory fight, though. This is a mandatory. He's still a champion, and this is a mandatory fight, from what I understand. So, I mean, it's a mandatory. What can I tell you?
Let's hope, but let's hope that also the Charlo guy, the guy that has the belt, he faces him, and that would be a pretty good fight because he can also be perceived as a guy that's ducking Triple G, and he just waited him to get old.
He waited him out, dude. I wouldn't respect Charlo if he took him now. The fuck was he 4 years ago, right? And I'm not yelling at you, Gonzalo. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being boisterous. Where was he 4 years ago when people were calling that fight out? Charlo fucking two-stepped around him. They all did. Even if you go back even further, man, they all did. So to see anybody who once ducked him, even Canelo, I understand he fought him twice, but let's not forget, man, he handed his belt. Okay, no, I'm all saying, here you go, dude. I'll catch you in a couple of years. I'm going to wait until the first sign of a chink in your armor, then I'll jump up. And that's exactly what he did. He sadly lost a little off his fastball against Jacobs, and it was fucking Canelo. Here I am. Floyd taught me well.
Hey, listen, Triple G knocks out this guy, Sarah Mesa, whatever, and a lot of fans are gonna be back supporting him, or a lot of people are gonna start saying, "Oh, he's back! Look at him! The knockout artist is back," and then he can get another big fight. So
that's how boxing, Bucho. That's how boxing works. That's how the whole thing works. Look, we know that if Triple G knocks out this guy, it's nothing. It's not really anything. It doesn't mean that he's gonna go in there and do that to one of the top guys. Now, I do agree with everything Jimmy said. All these guys, all of them, they ducked him, and that's
Yeah.
Fact. Okay, but fans are always going to over exaggerate, just like with AJ, right? We talked about this before the fight. We were talking about, if he knocks him out, fans are going to go crazy, and we were like, pretty much, yeah, that's what's going to happen. They're going to go insane. They're going to say, AJ's back. He'll knock out Fury and Wilder on the same night. It's like, get out of here.
That's true. It's a lot of emotions involved.
Exactly. Key word right there, brother. Emotions.
Triple G knocks this guy out. He's still 38, going on 39.
Jeez.
And,
in the middleweight
that's
division.
the reality.
In the middleweight
He's in
division.
that category, man, like the Povetkin, the Nonito Naire category. Pacquiao, I mean, yeah, but he's something else.
Yeah, but
what I don't like is when you're fighting the top guys, you're not knocking them out, but then you step down and beat up a mandatory, knock them out, and then it takes away the knockouts from you. Like, just call it a fucking night, dude. Either, you know what I mean? I don't know. Probably because I respect what he was at one point so much that it's just not doing him any
He's
justice.
fighting for the money now.
Yes.
I mean, he's fighting for the money.
And you can understand why he's bitter.
Right.
If I was him after that Canelo loss, I'd be built bullshit too.
Listen,
because he won that fucking
I
fight.
guarantee you, he's not angry with Canelo. Canelo's angry with him. I guarantee you that. He's not angry with Canelo because it's part of the game. The game is
he's angry with the system.
Right. He's angry with the system. He has no hatred. He'll take the big payday, and probably risk getting fucked up in that ring against Canelo. But me and Stu got a nice little bet if that fight happens.
Yeah, that's the problem, mate. Just too slow at the moment for Canelo.
The thing is, Canelo's getting older. Every year he's going to get older too. Because now that he's not fighting, I mean, Callum Smith, no matter what, now think about it, right? Callum Smith might not be considered a deadly puncher, but that same strength at 154, 160 would be one of the heaviest punches, right? So Canelo's, no matter what, he's getting more and more heavier punches, and let's see how he continues. Who he fights next will say a lot about Canelo.
Yeah.
I want to see the first fucking champion who's willing to take on, say his name again, Bucho Berlanga. What's his name?
Berlanga.
The 168. That's me. I'll tell you right now who it's not going to be is Plant. Plant's going to want nothing to do with that kid. But the first champion who calls him out, that's a legit champion. Because you're testing that kid. Because regardless of what you think of that kid's abilities, that fucking kid's got some fucking retard strength.
Canelo Berlanga would sell. You got a Puerto Rican Mexican rivalry. Bob Arum would promote that fight.
Canelo's not going to want that.
Really? I don't know.
He wouldn't want that. Why? Because now that he's in charge of his own career, bro, think about it.
But yeah,
he's the full. He's not going to take on some fucking monstrous puncher until maybe if the kid loses or sees him. But right now he's such an unknown, and the fact that like last night, I know that kid. Everybody looks at that kid he beat up as a nobody, but that is a sharp, worn dude's been around for years, been sparring partner for top name guys, has never been stopped, and that kid went in there and mercifully just whooped him in like 60 seconds, beat that dude's brakes off him with just crazy power. So he does have, I don't know if he's tested, because when they're not fighting for titles, I don't know, is this kid tested? And if suddenly, I'm not saying he is, but it's just bizarre to see that kind of power at 168. And whoever's a true champion at that division will call him out.
You talking about Berlanga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy strength.
Where's he from? Where's he from, did you say?
Puerto Rico originally. Now he's fighting out of Florida.
Philadelphia? I think he's from Philly.
No, he's from New York.
Okay.
New York.
Okay.
Yeah, New York, that's right.
Yeah, he's
originally from born in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
But when
he's just homies with
guys,
Chris, yeah.
they look like they don't want to get hit again. It's like I'm still not sold on him because, dude, you got to get out of the first round. I like him. Don't get me wrong. He looks like he's with it. Like he's with the
His power's legit though, right?
Yeah.
Admit that. The eyes. Look at the opponent. The eyes. Is that what you were just saying?
That's
just the look in your eyes when they hit him, right?
They get that.
They're like,
get
whoa.
that wide open look for every shot he lands. Every shot he lands, they got that. Holy shit! That Curtis Stevenson he got dropped by Triple G. That kind of look.
Yeah.
People catch mitts for the kid. People catch mitts for the kid say it's legit. Like he has heavyweight strength at 168. In fact, one guy who catches mitts for him in an article said he catches for all the heavyweights in that particular gym they train in right now, and he's the hottest hitter in the Jim, at
Yeah,
168.
he has to be.
So if that's true, if he's throwing crazy fucking strength like that, that's a big ask. You know what I mean?
But,
Like, see somebody take those kind of shots, you'll know who really has a chin.
I'm thinking about going back to Canelo. He's fighting Callum Smith this Saturday. He wins that fight. He gets the WBA belt, I believe, or one of those belts. I don't know. So what are Canelo's options after that? So he can fight anybody because he's a free agent. So he can fight
He's
anybody.
unifying. He's unifying. He's fighting Caleb Plant, and he's fighting whoever else has a title at 68. I don't know what piece of the title's out there. But he's unifying 68. That's where they're campaigning. That's what Reynoso said.
Yeah, but the thing is, now you have to factor in that this guy Berlanga is still winning and winning by impressive fashion. So I think he now became an option now. In my opinion, listen, about the
he said he's only fighting fighters with belts. Remember?
Yes, but
if this kid wins a belt.
Not only that, Jimmy. Not only that. Yeah, sure, you're gonna say that you're fighting for the belts because that's what the people want to hear you say, right? I'm fighting for all the belts. But at the end of the day, you're fighting for money. Most of these boxers are fighting for money. If Berlanga keeps winning, that's a great fight. Again, Puerto Rican, Mexican rivalry. A guy that can punch. A guy that might have a chance against Canelo. Because let's be honest, you put him against Plant. Okay, Plant has a belt, but who the fuck? I mean, do you really think Plant has a chance? Nobody's excited. You know, especially with Canelo when he cannot lose a decision. He keeps winning. Why fight a guy like Plant? Now you have a guy like Berlanga, no belt, but he can punch. Some people might be excited about that fight.
Well, with the decision thing, it seems like all these great fighters before Pacquiao, De La Hoya, they've always paid their dues when they got the decisions to go their way. Eventually, it catches up to them. Everybody gets the short end of the stick sometimes.
True, that's true.
My thing is, my thing too, to Bucho's point, if belts were really that important to him, he wouldn't have handed his over to Triple G.
Exactly. So
you know what I mean? Like, seriously, I'm the WBC middleweight champion of the world. Okay, the WBC says you have to make this fight. There's no step aside money. Gennady, this is Canelo, Gennady, work it out. And Canelo reaches around his waist, slips it off, hands it to him, and walks out of the room. I don't give a fuck how good he did in the second fight. That took a lot of shine off him for me. That was bitch. That was exactly what it was, man. I lost so much respect for Canelo when he did that. No, you're too dangerous still. I'll wait you out.
Yeah. But he wants all the belts
exactly
now.
Exactly what he did.
He wants all the belts now. Like he says he wants all the belts now. So you got to believe him.
Yeah, I know.
It's about money, guys. Come on.
Of course it is. Of course it is. He's threatened. How many times did he threaten to walk away from it, even during the negotiations for the second Triple G fight? Remember, he got caught with the steroids, and he was so pissed. He said he wasn't going to work with the WBC anymore, and I think they went to his house and washed his car. And
oh no, that was the WBC thing was because the WBC was telling Canelo that he had to fight Golovkin, and he said, "No, I don't."
Yeah, and he was pissed at him. Yeah. And remember after when Canelo was first announced he did drugs, took steroids,
it
was pop dirty, whatever, WB said, we just want to let you know that we stand by him and we don't think are you serious right now?
That's who Suleiman is. Suleiman, he just wants the money. That's why he's creating this Bridgerweight division. No, this guy's a joke, man. He's showing up in all those events. Like, I wasn't surprised when he shows up to the Tyson Roy Jones fight. Like, I knew that the WBC was gonna sneak in there, man. Ugh, disgusting, man.
Yeah, he is. Dude, you see him smile. It's like, seriously, he's just a fucking. He's just
snake.
Yeah, dude, fake and just like seriously wants to sell you undercoating for your car.
Yeah,
dude, $99 more. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? Like, dude, he just should be selling fucking condos or something, timeshares.
Nasty.
Yeah, and the political climate, man, because he made that belt, the BLM, Black Lives Matter for the he picks up on that. And the Bridger thing, picking off a good story like that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Belt?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right. Wait a minute, didn't they have a picture of Breonna Taylor on it? I remember reading about that. They had a picture of Breonna Taylor and shit on it. Yeah, okay. Do you know if she wasn't shot and killed that night, just as a side note, they had warrants for her arrest for being a trap queen. So, like, good to see who you're putting on your belt. A fucking crack cocaine dealing bitch whose bodies were being found in her car.
Jimmy, he doesn't even know who that is, man. He didn't even do any research or nothing, and I'm not surprised. By the way,
let me read this.
Who's going to be allowed to fight for the Black Lives Matter belt?
Stu, go
Just
ahead,
black
Stu.
people? Is it just black versus white? Or
Stu.
Revolution, 1 minute. I want to read this super chat while it's still there, while I can still see it. It's my old friend, Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne said in the super chat, tell Recognize, stop being infected by Stu's ideology. No way AJ beats Fury. Thank you for the donation, Jason. But
what was that?
I don't know what you've been listening to for the last 2 hours. I said Fury beats AJ. Do you ever open them fucking lugholes of yours and listen? This is your problem. You don't listen and learn.
What did he say? I missed.
He says, tell Recognize to stop being infected by Stu's ideology. No way AJ beats Fury.
No way AJ beats Fury. Okay, whatever. Because that has nothing to do with Stu. That's just my opinion. What the fuck?
Hey, Bucho.
Yeah.
Stu gets blamed for everything on this show.
I know. They blame Stu for fuck. I mean, anyways.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I pick Fury to win. Yeah, I'm infecting Recognize who's picking Joshua. that's the brain cells we're dealing with on this show. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
Go ahead, Gonzalo.
By the time our kids have kids, one day they're gonna be going through the garage and they're gonna be, hey, what is this WBC thing? The WBC belt. They're gonna be around so much that everybody's gonna have one in their fucking garage.
Yeah, exactly. It's really
good point, brother. That's fucking that company. Well, yeah, diamond belts, and never mind. On top of that, right? What really bothers me is when they make these belts like that thing they give Lomachenko, the diamond belt or the champion's belt or whatever. All it does is create confusion, not for people who understand what's going on, but for
that's
fucking
what it's
like
for,
that.
Jimmy. That's what it's
yeah,
for.
It's silly.
Yeah, it's to create confusion. They like doing that. That way they could hide, their fighter. They could prop him up as the real champion, and when he gets a real challenge, actually he's not the real champion. It should be the other guy that fights the real challenger.
Well, I'm telling you, this is no joke. I think we've gone through boxing right now is in a really bad state because I'll tell you, it was bad in 2016, I think it was, and then 2017 it came back big, and then like 2018 was a great year, and then it's been going down since. And then you look on the horizon, like there doesn't seem to be another influx of the Triple Gs, the Lomachenkos, unless I'm not, I know there's a handful, but even like Britain was punching out all kinds of champions a few years back. It's like almost, is it just in general, or it saddens me, but
boxing itself is not a clown sport.
Boxing not taking risks anymore, bro. Promoters are not taking risks.
Yeah,
and it's going to kill the sport because MMA guys are taking it.
Long. They're stewing on fights too long, and the problem is when you stew on a fight, before you know it, one of them's getting knocked out, and then the fights, no one wants to watch it anymore. So you miss out on the fight because you're stewing and stewing. You got to make the fight while it's relevant still, while fighters are still winning. It's like the Joshua Wilder, prime example. Stewed on it. Both get knocked out. Now who
they would have fought before that stoppage?
That fight now ahead of Fury, nobody. So
nobody.
Come on, man.
That fight could have sold back in 2017 2018 when they should have fought before they both stopped. That fight would have probably did in excess of fucking 1.5 to 2 million PPVs. You know what I mean? Easily.
Blew it.
Now I doubt it would do fucking 4. No, it would probably do 5.
And
that's why it's kind of hard to get excited for a Crawford versus Spence. In a way, it's not ruined, but it could have been better because he got into the accident, and they're 30-something years old now. The both of them.
Gonzalo, dude, I'm surprised you say that. Dude. I don't know how. I hear a lot of people saying that, like, oh, how he is at the. I mean, I can't stress it enough. Unless he had white, ligament damage. So he banged his fucking head off the cement. Big deal. You know what I mean? No worse than fucking what they go through when they're in the ring. Swollen brains, fucking gashes, broken teeth. That's in the ring too. So it's almost like you know what I mean. Like what we saw was there was no structural skeleton. His shoulder, he wasn't throwing punches from a different angle because he can't throw them the way he used to. His footwork wasn't different. So once we saw the knees, elbows, and shoulders, I was never worried what kind of hit he took off the head, because if he took a hit that hard on the head, he wouldn't have been released in fucking 72 hours, or less than 72 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we knew already he didn't have any big head injuries because the doctor said he didn't. So there's really, I think, I don't like the accident, not that you're doing it too, but a lot of people are kind of hanging it up there in the air in case he does lose. That will be the excuse.
Nah,
that accident was nothing.
Yeah,
Plus, he was so drunk, dude, he doesn't
Jimmy,
remember it. He was thrown out of the car.
Yeah, Jimmy, he proved it in this fight, in the fight with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia caught him with some good shots, and he reacted just fine. Just fine.
He's good.
Exactly.
He'll probably
He's
feel it when
exactly.
he's
He's
older.
fine.
He'll feel it when he's in his 40s. I mean, just like everything.
Well,
I when I was in my 28, even in my early, I felt great. Then one day I woke up and it wasn't the same. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Dude, I had that day too. But what I'm saying about that accident, dude, when you're drunk, the reason why drunks survive bad car accidents, I've seen fucking crazy car accidents where drunks are literally walking away and there's 4 people dead because you're drunk. You don't tense up.
Yes,
your body doesn't
I heard
just literally
stories.
crack. You just bloop. And that's what happened to him. He doesn't remember the accident. I think he really passed out. And he just
passed out.
drunk.
He passed out.
Nodded off.
This is what happens when you've got young men jumping in cars like they can't drive. Like I said, this is why you get a lot of youngsters killing themselves in fast cars, because they've jumped from having a normal car into a Ferrari, and them cars you've got to know how to drive them cars, especially rear-wheel drive. The rear-wheel drive, 500-600 brake horsepower, 700 brake horse. Some of these cars in the wet. All you got to do is the amount of times, because I'm a big car enthusiastic, the amount of times I've seen pictures of Lamborghinis in the walls, just by some guy spinning it. I saw a guy on a McLaren spin it into a wall the other day where he just tapped on it.
Well, here in this country, he drove a 5.0 Mustang, right? Yeah, it's a V8. It's got a lot of growl and it's quick off the line. But those pasta rockets, those fucking things, man, are mid-engine drives, or they have that weird torquing. If you don't downshift in the corner rightly, you can just kick it right out. It'll spin right out on you.
This is the
you
thing.
got to know what you're doing with those things.
I love American muscle cars. But I couldn't have one in the UK because I'd be in a hedge quickly. Because it's always wet out here, the roads, and
it's made for straightaways.
Well, yeah, with a rear-wheel drive, you see, it'd be spinning out. You just never get the roads are just too wet over here, and it'd be dangerous to have one. So,
dude, I drove a Testarossa, and I know, I spun it out in the parking lot. My boss's Testarossa. You know what's the craziest thing about that car? All right, so we paid $180,000 for a car. Get in the fucking thing. First off, you're sitting about 6 inches off the cement, which is just fucked up to begin with. It doesn't have power steering, and it makes sense once you're driving fast, because rack and pinion, it gives you tighter, you feel the road better. There's no play in it. But when you're not moving, and those big wide-ass tires, you're trying to turn the fucking wheel without power steering. He's like, no, dude, you got to give it a little gas.
The power, once the power goes, you got no steering. But I saw the other day, listen to this, Jimmy, this guy, right, paid $350,000 for a Lamborghini Aventador, right, in the UK. He went to pick it up from the garage. 20 minutes into his drive home, the fucking electric shut out on him on the motorway. Lost steering, everything. 3 cars piled into him, ripped the car off. 20 minutes he had it. Do you know what I mean?
Was it insured?
Well, of course it's insured, but it was insured, but he didn't even get the car home. The electrics fouled on him. That's how dangerous. Once the electrics fouled on him, so the car's useless, and that's how dangerous.
And they don't have you can't buy a fender or a quarter panel. Those things are all carbon fiber bodies. You know what I mean? Like you got to buy the whole shell and shit. Yeah.
I wanted to say,
when you buy a tire each. Oh, I'm sorry, Billy Higgins. I'll go, brother. I'm sorry.
Jimmy, but the thing about the car accident that I noticed with Aerosmith, he lost his shoes. Why do people lose their shoes? Car accidents, and when you get knocked out, let's say in the ring, you're not losing your shoes when you're getting knocked out. I mean, your shoes are tied to your feet. I mean, fighters are not losing their shoes when they're getting knocked out of the ring.
Flew out of the car.
It's the physics, the inertia when you go suddenly one direction. Exactly.
Took him out of his shoes. That's all.
What happens, Gonzalo? You're traveling in one speed. You're driving at, say, 80 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour. Your body and everything around you physically in physics is traveling in action. It's the sudden jerk and your body going the other direction. So everything not completely tied on sometimes stays there. That happens all the time. The shoes come
You ever
out.
heard that saying? I knocked him out of his shoes. That's where they get it from.
Okay, okay.
Boxing Madness in the chat, he says about BMWs with the rear-wheel drive being dangerous in the UK because he said he's got one, and this is the reason I did not buy a BMW because the roads are wet in the UK. They're dangerous. They're back-wheel drive. They're spinning out. I remember I was going down like a dual carriageway a few weeks ago, and I've down the slip road. I've looked and I've saw a BMW M3 coming down the slip road. Well, I've looked back, looked in my mirror, and he's driving down the slip road backwards. He spun out just on the straight. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
I had an M3. I loved it. That was an awesome
deadly
car.
cars. That's the reason I didn't buy because I was looking at the M4s. So but
I
that's
had
why I
an
got the
M3 convertible back in the 90s, dude.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorite cars.
that's why I got the RS. It's 4-wheel drive and it grips.
Oh,
to the
nice.
road.
That's
It's
a
safe,
nice car.
There you got a nice car, Stu. Oh shit!
Yeah, it's a lovely car, man. Do you know what I mean? It's safe. Like I said, where I live and around the
Is that
country,
in
you
your
need
picture
4-wheel
right there?
drive.
That's your pro. Is that your that's it, right? The profile pic.
Yeah.
I
That's
can
my
tell.
car there. Yeah. It's
One thing I like about Europe, you guys have cement. You guys have actual cement roads, a lot of real cement roads, not tar. We have all tar asphalt. And what happens when it gets real hot, the oils separate. When it rains and it puddles right after it stops raining, you have a little gleam of oil on the road. That's why it makes it so dangerous. But those pasta rockets, the noodle rockets, so what happens, you know what I mean, dude, when you downshift, the back wheels will go different directions. So you got to actually, if you buy one of those cars, you need to take lessons if you've never driven one.
You just got to keep your traction control on as well, man. But
that's another thing.
I'll tell you about the roads in England, especially the country roads. I was coming from the girlfriend's. There's a dark country road near mine. And I'm doing about 60, 70, and I felt this thud, right? I'm thinking, what the fuck's that? A big plank of wood. It just fell off the back of a tractor or something. I run across the road. I ran over it. It bowed 4 of my tyres because obviously they're low-profile tyres and they're low. Bowed 4 of them. Cost me £840, which is not nearly $1,000 for 4 new tyres. So that's what I mean. Just running over a bit of wood. I mean, it's over here really dangerous.
Did it do your rims too? Did you bend any rims?
There was a little bow in the rim. I had to get the rim straightened out, but it bowed all my tyres. Put little eggs in them.
They just threw some weights in it?
Put eggs in my tyres, you see, and obviously that's dangerous. So, yeah, it could cost me about
That's so funny. Dude, not funny, but I just mentioned I had an M3. The only car I've ever done this in, I spun out. I was going to the loci for last call, and I was taking this hard turn way too fast, and I just spun out. Of course, and I did a 4. And it was like 3 cars spun out, and then I was like, stop. But as we're driving, with the, you know what I mean, where all 4 tires just spun, it made a bald spot. And the same thing, dude. And the M3 too. You can't buy, like, I think it was each tire you had to buy a left front, a right front, a left rear, and a right rear. They're not interchangeable.
Yeah, see, the law in the UK now, especially with like sports cars and quick cars, you have to have like the same tires. You see them. The tires, well, you can have 2 on the back, 2 on the back, and 2 different ones on the front, but you can't just mix the tires up. I've got the Pirellis on mine. The Pirellis are really good.
Z-rated, H-rated rather.
The P0s, the Pirellis, they're
okay, yeah, nice and sticky.
They are, but when it's warm, they're brilliant. But when it's wet and they're cold, then that's a different story. So yeah.
Why do you like the color white on your car, Stu? Because it stays cleaner.
No, it's just the black. I just love the white and black with the red in it. And I mean, that's got
classy looking.
Yeah, I mean, that's got 12 grand's worth of extras on it. That car, it's got everything. It's got carbon fiber engine covers. I did the works on that car, mate.
Now, what do you got on? What is it? At 1.8?
Well, no, that's a 2.5 litre twin turbo. That thing does 175, mate.
You got the 2.5. I didn't hear that earlier. I didn't know if it was a because they make a 1.8.
It's an RS3. It does like I've had the restrictor taken off it as well, so it does 175. It does like 0 to 60. Yeah, 0 to 60 in about 3.7 seconds. That it's fucking rapid, bro.
No shit, huh?
Yeah.
Did you get anything done to the springs and stuff? You got the
no. It's just I haven't touched all that yet. When I get remapped, I'm getting it remapped, and because it's sitting at around 440 or 450 brake at the moment. I'm getting a stage 2,
kidding, huh?
And then that'll go up to about 550. But Yeah, then they will have to play with all that. But no, I haven't done it at the moment.
Isn't it weird, dude? Like Europeans love American muscle, right? I grew up around it, dude. If you and I should talk some, dude. I had a 72 CUDA 340, balanced, blueprinted, all done up, 383 transmission, 556 rear end gears. I had a fucking a torque speed converter, so it's an automatic, but it wouldn't kick in until you hit 3,200 RPMs. I remember sitting next to a cop, and it would, with the huge cams, it would idle like. That's how it idled, and like you have to give it up to 3,200 RPMs before it would engage, so it chirped every time off the line because it was made for a quarter mile. It would redline at 55 miles an hour.
Hey, do you know the thing is, Jimmy? Well, the thing with the German cars, right? Because I do like my German all everyday car sort of thing, like the BM and the Mercedes and the Audis. Just lovely cars, aren't they? But when you buy them, they come as a shell, right? You have to put on options and extras. So, you have to design your own car. It ends up costing you a lot more money. I mean, my car, if it was selling in the US, it'd be like $73,000.
Yeah, I don't even think we get those there. I don't think we get them.
You don't have them, but there's in America there are just a lot more money over there than they are in Europe for some reason. But you get them as a shell, and you have to put extras on them. So you buy a car. Say if you buy, say 50 grand, you spend 50 grand on a car. The time you put the bits on it to make it look nice, it's costing you another 13 grand. Do you know what I mean? It's just a joke how they do it, but it's how they make the money.
Yeah, your petrol over there is expensive. I know.
I do £120 a week in petrol, which is about
Jesus Christ.
which is about.
How much is it a gallon?
It's about $150. What about $150, $160? I don't know, but it's a week.
Yeah, that's about 170 actually. How much is a gallon if you buy the gallon? I know you guys do it by a liter, but how much is a gallon?
Well,
gallon of gas.
I don't know. I'll get about 80 miles. If I put £20 in the tank, which I don't put very often because it's pointless putting that in. But if you put £20, you get about 80 miles in my car. But I'm hovering around about 15 to the gallon. Depends.
Wow. Hey guys, it's been 3 hours.
We're talking about cars. I know.
Yeah, no, but it's been 3 hours, man. No, it's just that
I love car talk. We should have a car talk one night if you guys
short,
have cars.
Not keep it at 3 hours.
Like
more than 3 hours.
5-minute little car talk because the fucking.
Especially if you guys are into motorcycles.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But
I love motorcycles too, Bucho. I mean, I recognize.
But you just got to be nuts. You got to be. I'd never ride a cycle in the UK, man. No way.
UK, you guys have some rough roads, right? That's what it is?
Yeah.
You have some rough streets?
Well, they also have some really excellent roads, too, though. It's a give and take. They got some of the best roads, like, for racing, too.
So my dad's best advice to me when I first started driving was treat everyone on the road as a wanker, and you might make it. But and that's the best
Dude,
advice.
my father said the same thing. He said, treat everybody like they're trying to kill you.
Yeah, and that's the best advice you can give anyone. Because women are the most dangerous. You know my opinion on that. When I see a woman in a car in front of me, I'm sticking my foot down. I'm getting past before she causes damage. She's
putting her makeup on in the mirror, dude. Yeah, putting her makeup on in traffic.
In the mirror. She's fucking looking at her phone. She's going in her handbag. She's doing everything but looking at the fucking road. And I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a victim. I soon boot past them, mate. Dangerous. I had one nearly sideswipe me the other day at a roundabout. Do you know what I mean? Oh man, dangerous they are. That's why.
What about the fucking triple threat, old Asian winner?
The other day I almost got my head ripped off. Well, I could have, because I was driving down the road and on the opposite side coming down was an oversized caterpillar, and I was talking to my wife. I was turning, and as I looked, the edge of the caterpillar, of the shovel, it's like on my side of the road, so I had to swerve out of the way, man. This is life here in the Philippines.
Hey Jimmy, my favorite bike ever is the CBR, Honda CBR.
That was a nice bike.
The 94 version. Oh man, boy, I used to fucking. I don't know how far.
All fucking gears you could put up. All gears could go to the ceiling. It had a short wheelbase. The CBR it had a real short wheelbase and a fucking torqued high. Every gear you were facing the ceiling if you wanted. You would have